everyone, and welcome to RezoCast episode 120. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove, Triton, Wilson, Mana, and our special guest this week from the community. We've got Chadlantis with us here. What's up, man? How's it going? Welcome back to the show.
It's going great. Thank you for bringing me back. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. How's your week been? This week has been a pretty exciting week in Destiny, but how's it been for you?
Yeah, the entirety of the last week has been awesome because I went straight from the VIP Anthem demo straight into the last word being released and the sandbox changes and everything. So it's been like a whirlwind of new stuff. I'm excited.
Dude, that's a lot in 1 week. I forgot about. Did any of the rest of y'all try the Anthem demo?
Yep.
Yes.
I
tried.
I'm still waiting on EA to email me my password.
I had no connection issues.
Oh, wow.
I had zero connection issues or the infinite loads. It's just that every time I'd come back to it, my progress wouldn't save, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a new one. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I'd have to keep doing like the intro missions and stuff.
The
like
out of
that.
the suit mission.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it another whirl when I think that's tomorrow, right? It comes back around again tomorrow. I think I'm gonna try it again tomorrow so I can give it a fair assessment because
Fair shake.
it happens. Yeah, fair shake. Yeah, there you go. It happens. I'm not hating like, oh, I tried and I had problems. Like it worked great. What I got to play was amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
had a
was
really
really
fun time. That one. I had the infinite load constantly, like the 95%. Like you sit there, you're hoping, and it wasn't like a fast load either. So you definitely had 30 seconds of like hoping that it was gonna load to get stuck. And then finally, I got back in. Wilson, it didn't put me in the first mission. Like I never got to do the first mission. It put me in a stronghold. And I was like, I barely played. It's constantly letting people down. People were reviving me. So I went like the other way. I didn't play any of the content until like the Stronghold, which I think is more like their end game. So kind of struggle bust through that, but ultimately got that done against that big like insect thing. It was pretty cool though.
Triton, I think what the people really want to know, they don't want to know if it was a fast load or a slow load, but was it a big load?
Not as big as yours. So
Good answer.
Is that a compliment?
I was over here trying to raid on day one, doing the end game content as soon as
with my I think I was like level 10 or whatever the base was.
Well, now what you're supposed to do is complain incessantly on Twitter that the game's too hard. You can't do the raid yet. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do as an internet person.
Well, I went the other route. I did like the compliment there. Like, I mean, I think the expectation was that it would work, but I wasn't surprised that it didn't have problems. But I was happy they responded pretty quickly to everything. I mean, was everything fixed? No, but they didn't just like leave you hanging there. So, I mean, to me, that was a decent indicator going forward. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I still had it pre-ordered, so I'm likely gonna pick it up at the end of the upcoming month.
Their devs have been really all over Twitter and making blog posts and stuff talking about everything. So they've been definitely engaging with the community, talking about the technical issues, saying that most things have either been fixed already or in the process of getting fixed. Some kind of like client-side patching that they can't load out for demos, so there might be still issues this weekend, but they're trying to promise that they are already fixed a lot of the issues for the full launch. So it's really hard to tell if those are really fixed or not, but at least they're giving promises for all those things being done, and then they're responding to feedback about the design issues. Like a lot of people have issues with the flight controls and the looting systems and stuff like that for design ideas that they've been responding to and agreeing with a lot of people's feedback too, and saying that they want to implement a lot of changes that have been suggested by the community.
That's cool. Well, I know we're a Destiny podcast, but a lot of Destiny fan base is super interested in Anthem, the game. And so Triton and Chad, I'm curious about like what y'all's like general opinions of it, where I know it's like a super hot take because it was a beta and everything, but like how did y'all feel about it playing it this weekend?
There's a lot of unknowns for sure because it's a looter game, so you don't know how the in-game grind is going to be and how like gear is going to balance out and stuff. So you can't really say much about it because of the demo, like you said, it's a small sample size. But I mean, at base, like the visuals are amazing. It feels really cool being in a mech, and the audio when it works is actually really cool.
The audio is very interesting. It's not really like anything you've heard in a game right now. It's
intense.
Sci-fi-ish, really cool. And like the bass drops and stuff like that within the sound effects are really interesting. Actually, what classes did you guys play as?
I played all three, all four, I guess technically. ranger as well.
I actually forgot there was 4 classes. Now that I think of
I
it.
prioritized the Colossus at first,
Mm.
but then at the end, because of the technical issues, they made all of the javelins available for the VIP demo candidate or members or participants, whatever terminology you want to give it, which was pretty cool. So I got like an hour of Storm and Interceptor before the servers went down. I'll be playing that more because it carries over your VIP experience through the open demo this weekend. So I'll be able to just continue where I left off, which would be really cool.
See, I thought I was special and sneaky because, like, at the end where they opened up all the classes to all the players and all that, me, Swords, and Nava Bear, we were all trading account information so we can try our, like, each character. Like, I was Interceptor. What was the Interceptor? Was Storm the?
Yeah,
Storm and and
of the javelins.
I keep on thinking Warlock. I have Warlock in my mind, so that's pretty much what it is to me.
Makes sense.
But yeah, we thought we were sneaky. We're all, trading information, and then they make them all available. We're like, I was going to make a tweet saying I played them all, but now there's no point. It's,
Actually, funny.
We basically have a hunter, a warlock, and a titan.
Right.
It's kind of like a mesh of all 3 of them together. So it was actually kind of interesting.
The Interceptor is the hunter that I hope to be. Honestly, it's so good.
Assassin, rogue.
Mm-hmm. So speedy and jumpity.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a funny news title. It was like Anthem tries to hit Destiny 2 fan base, but ends up being more like Warframe with Division and Diablo loot. Like, and it was just all these titles in one like title of like a news column, and I just thought it was funny. I was like, damn. I was like, and they're right too. Like, there are hints of a lot of that in there. And what's like the really nimble one? The
Interceptor.
The Interceptor. That's the one that looks the most interesting to me. Is the one that you're just
that's my favorite right now at the moment.
That's the one I want to get into. The big tanky one looks like it'll be like you'll definitely need one of those on your team from time to time.
It's funny you mentioned that, Wilson. I feel like that's, and Chad, the fact that you said you were on the Colossus was like gave me a lot of hope, because I'm wondering, and I guess it probably won't match make based on what mech you pick, but initially in that stronghold when I was doing it, I only got to play the Ranger. We had this Colossus with us, and he was awesome. He was taking all the damage. We were able to, you didn't feel like you were having to do more than you were maybe equipped to, and it was like my first hour playing, so I didn't know really what to do. But eventually he quit because we couldn't figure it out. He couldn't fly. I mean, just people were dropping in and out, or he got kicked, right? So he got kicked. All of a sudden at the end, it was me as the Ranger and 3 interceptors, and they just did whatever they wanted and floated everywhere. It was so hard to get by a section with that. So I never got to play anything else, but I know everyone's like Interceptor, which I would have loved to play it too. But hopefully more people are the Colossus. To your point, Wilson, they seem pretty necessary for certain fights.
They are kind of nice.
It is really nice to have.
They have an ability. Really good. That's it right there. They have an ability where you just gain aggro from everything, and your ability is you're pretty much just absolute unit of a what are they, mechs, I guess?
Javelins or whatever.
Javelins. I can't remember that for some reason. You have no shield. It's just all health, and you just eat everything pretty much.
Well,
you have a shield too.
You have the shield.
You have the shield. But it only lasts for a little bit.
I had a shield at first. I played like 2 missions as Colossus and thought, man, this sucks. This is a terrible javelin because I have no shield regenerates, and I'm just an HP tank. And once I go low HP, I'm just screwed. And I didn't know what the deal was. I knew there was a taunt mechanic. So I was like, okay, great, I can taunt them towards me, but then I just die instantly. And then 2 missions later, I didn't even know, I don't know what it is for console, but it's the control key on default for mouse keyboard. And I hit it by accident and then brought up the shield. And I thought, oh, that's a thing. And it makes more sense. That would be the tank class. It's kind of like how a Reinhardt shield works from Overwatch, where it's like a durability. You have to put away for it to recharge its durability and stuff, which is actually really cool.
You're like, shit, this changes everything.
It's actually lit. I'm so glad I picked this.
Right. Hell yeah.
That's cool though. The main thing I took away from all that, just y'all talking about it, is the feel of it was good and the sound being good. Because that's what, Destiny, when we first got the beta for it, I remember it didn't look interesting to me at all. And then I played it for like a second and I was like, oh, this feels amazing. And just playing it for a few minutes, I was like, man, everything's so new and fresh. And
there were long periods of time where just the feel and sounds of Destiny carried that game for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was nothing going on, but nothing felt better to play, and that carried it. So that's important.
I remember
my friends are
D1.
playing it. I'll play it.
Also, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if my friends are playing it, I'll definitely check it out. Like Division 2 is also gonna have like a demo coming around the corner.
Are you
here.
getting that on PC or PS4?
I think
Either one.
both I'm gonna get on PC, and I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, I don't have like the utmost top of the line PC, but like a 1080 and an i5 6600K, like, and it taxed my PC. Anthem did, so hopefully it gets optimized.
Yeah, I heard.
a little
I
better.
think Miss 5000 Watts I saw talking about that like she has a pretty top of the line PC and it was running at like 95% trying to run that
Dude,
game.
it
So
was
there's
maxing out the
something
CPU.
funky with that beta demo.
There's
whatever
some
you
kind of
wanna
like a
call it.
memory leak or something, or I don't know. But gorgeous. Can't wait.
Thanks.
It's gonna be cool. Excited. Yeah, yeah, man. And got Division 2, which I'm excited about, and we know a few people that are really excited about it, so it should be interesting.
I don't know if I'm gonna get that game. I don't know.
I'm actually more
Like,
strangely enough,
don't
I want to
pre-order
play
it.
Division 2 more than I want to play Anthem.
Really?
And I didn't even like Division that much. I loved the
Yeah,
idea of it.
Yeah.
I love the changes they made. If it was just a little too late for me.
I'm gonna
because-
have to look up everything in the
When
Division
is-
2 that's out right
when
now
is the
because
beta coming? Is it like the 7th? Is it the 7th?
7th or the
Yeah.
8th, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just
This
done
weekend's
pre-ordering
Anthem open,
games.
The weekend after that's
so.
Division.
is it a
2.
private
Nice.
beta
I
open?
believe so.
They're gonna
yeah.
have both, I
Private.
think.
Yeah, this
think-
first one's gonna be private next
Yes.
weekend, and then
Okay.
open later on.
I could
So if
probably
you
get you a
pre-order,
key.
you get the code
Yeah.
then.
I'll definitely check it out. Yeah.
Maybe I'll
I could
just
probably
order
get you a
real quick.
key. My buddy, I think
Oh, nice.
they're handing out like a couple for like people to hand out to their friends, possibly.
Oh,
Don't
cool.
quote me on that. So like with Anthem, they gave like each VIP person like 3 codes to hand out to friends.
So
Right.
I'd say if you can somehow get 2 keys, me and my roommate right now will definitely join you and try it out.
I'm down. It's funny. That's how I met.
Oh yeah,
That's actually,
fuck the rest of us, man. Huh?
that's actually
Hey,
how I
I'm just-
met. That's actually
just a
how I met
private
Briar.
conversation.
Was, gosh, we were me and my buddy were in the dark zone and we saw Briar and we went and healed him. And he started following us around, and the son of a bitch shot us in the back and killed us and took our
Oh my
shit.
God.
Isn't that how you met
Oh,
Briar?
man.
And we were best friends ever since
Yeah.
because I went into his stream several days later, and he's like, "Would you like to play some Iron Banner?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, I would. Let me tell you a fucking story."
So
we were
now-
like best friends.
Now moving on to what we're really here to talk about: hippie dressing.
Hippie dress.
We need to have an in-depth conversation about hippie dressing.
Right.
For this. I'm just saying, hippie dressing can best be classified as not dressing found on the shelves at your local grocery store.
Actually, you classified it last
Or
time as
retail
not
store.
ranch.
Yeah,
Not
I thought it was
ranch.
like a vinaigrette is what we established.
or not ranch. That's
Or just
that's a
any
better
foreign
assessment.
dressing, like not Americanized.
It was.
Is it acceptable at
Mustard
Walmart?
seeds in it.
No, it's not, man. Because it's got to be non-GMO. It's got to be hand sourced, locally grown.
Oh, touche.
Well, Hove, you were the one that were saying that you didn't get to try the Anthem demo. Did you? What was your week like as far as Destiny though? Did you get to jump in there at all?
No.
No.
Well, I've
Bit of a
been.
week.
Yeah. Work's been a little
Yeah,
busy.
guy.
I've been trying to get. I'm so close to Diamond on Overwatch. I keep
Nice.
getting to like
Nice.
2970, and then I run into some assholes on my team.
That's like the cusp.
Oh yeah, I'm like a game
Yeah,
away.
You're like teetering.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they might as well just give it to you.
Yeah,
like,
right?
What the hell?
Then I spent a nice day or so in the hospital. Everything's fine. I don't have a broken penis, even though Triton likes to tell people I do.
I didn't tell anybody that except for the people here and now chat.
Oh, so now
You
these,
said-
so now they don't count. They're nobodies.
you said everybody.
He has a broken
you, like,
penis.
tell everybody about it.
You go, he has a broken penis, and Hope goes, it wasn't my penis, and Lego goes, it was kind of your penis.
Yeah.
You think
I mean,
about it. You think-
It was. I mean, a little bit.
It's slippery outside, man.
All right, so
Tripped
so
and fell.
PSA, stay hydrated. Don't get a kidney stone. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking
those are terrible. I've heard from
worst.
people.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I heard it's the male equivalent of giving birth, and I'm not even kidding.
No, it like
Wow.
pain level
legit.
supposedly. Yeah, no. In all seriousness, I mean, I haven't
is
given
like
birth
the-
yet either. Like ever. Like I probably won't. I don't think.
I was like, yeah, just wait.
Women
You-
will have kidney stones pass through that location, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the good
Yeah.
news, it's just on the cusp. It is about as big as they will let a person pass on their own without a surgical procedure. So
nice.
I
don't know
bet
if that's
you.
good news.
No, that's not good news. That's
They can't
terrible
like
news.
hit it with some ultrasound
Yeah, it
and break
seems
that
like
shit
bad
up or
news.
something, or how's that
No,
work?
I mean they can, but
Can't,
only
like,
if
hit
it's
it with
like
some tough actin tenactin.
only
like,
if it's like
Dude, doesn't that like mess you up down the line, like sending waves at that thing? I mean, I just feel like that can't be good overall.
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's not like it's in your dick right now. Like it's not in anybody's dick, but it's never
Not
mind. Forget
mine.
it.
Doesn't tell you that much.
But anyway,
I feel like a new man.
I got
that's
to.
on.
I got paid because I was technically at work to just lay in a hospital bed, watch Criminal Minds with pain meds in my arm, and nap. And they were
Nice,
like, "Do you? It's cold in here. Would you like a hot blanket?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And she brought me two, and I put them both on.
And you were on Discord, so we got to chat with you on Twitter, Discord.
Oh yeah, that too.
Did they go grab you Eaton Park?
No, I did go to Panera afterwards, though.
Nah, dude, Panera is some feel-good food, man.
Oh, especially when it's negative 12 degrees out, some hot soup.
So I'm saying we'd gladly
Good
take a
Red
Panera
Bull.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
we gladly take
I eat there all
but
the
yeah,
time.
I gotta get back into Destiny. Like I said, the hospital stay threw me off a little bit,
Yeah,
and I'm
that-
just so
that threw you
close. I'm so close to Diamond, and most importantly, me and Dewey and Dewey's wife picked up Sea of Thieves on PC.
Oh.
And that is a shit ton of fun. I think it would be the worst experience ever to play by yourself. But playing with people who are also like fun, it is hysterical. And I hit up Briar because I know he used to play, and he just answered me and said, "Let's sail the seven seas, matey." So we're gonna play some Sea of Thieves with Briar in the future too. So that is a
It's
fun game.
with friends, man. You just
That's
get to be
awesome.
drunk savages, man. It's like what it's really like if there was no filter, if you didn't have to worry about having the filter, the way most people would act. is
It's
Sea of Thieves.
basically what we would act like if we were on a pirate ship in real life.
Dude, I'm down. My character looked awesome last time I left him.
Mine
so
didn't.
Ready?
Mine did not.
Has
Mine
an
looked
eye
like
patch that's like an ace of spades. It's
Mine
a
looked
card
like
that
the
he fashioned in.
kind of like
Oh.
the female version of Sloth from the Goonies.
No.
You mean like the mom from that movie?
That group. She was probably more attractive than my character.
Oh, that's great.
Well-
Wait, how many of you have Sea of Thieves? Just
Me,
Just you two?
Wilson, Dewey. Do you have it?
me? No.
Dude.
I've been
Oh,
watching a lot of.
just so
streams
you
of it,
know,
though.
if you're listening to this and it's not live, it's already over. But there's like 8 more hours. It's 50% off. It's only $30.
If you want to play it, man, you could always log into my account and just play it.
But then again, like I wouldn't play it on my own.
I feel like you'd be a
So,
shitty.
I'm
Well,
saying
you
if
know,
you have
you're
friends that
allowed
wanna
to
play,
you're allowed to
yeah.
play with us like more often than just during like around the podcast. You can like, I will accept invites. I will
Guilt
play
trip.
games with you, man.
I mean, I haven't been playing a lot of like online games other than Battlefield 4 though. Is my problem? I've been actually dabbling in Destiny
4?
again. The past, I went back to 4. Five just wasn't. Five's
I
fun.
love 4
but, like
so
it's
much.
just nothing like 4. You know, so I reinstalled it. I got my roommates to reinstall it and everything. I got Kami
Dude,
and
Manny, you should hit
Ice.
me up sometime. I would totally play 4 with you. I love that.
Oh, dude,
game.
I'll invite you the next time we're on. I'll invite you.
Very
Like,
last
you still have
thing.
it installed?
Yeah, I still have it installed and everything. So you said you've been playing some more Destiny recently.
I jumped back in.
What's been bringing you back?
I'm just like, you know what? More stuff is coming out, and I'm super far behind still on Light. So I've been doing some resets last week, doing some more, just Crucible, and actually yesterday jumped back into comp. So I tried that out
Clip. That
today.
clip was amazing.
Dude, that was so good.
Oh my god.
We didn't know what to do. So like, what was it? We were still up by I think a couple of points, but it was
You're up by like 3 rounds.
was it Countdown? Was that
It was
the
countdown on
Yeah.
what is that Iron Banner map? The
Volstock?
the
Black-
Vostok.
Yeah,
Vostok? There we go.
Vostok.
So
The
there's
A-
3 people
A
left.
capture zone.
One guy dropped the bubble on the capture point, and we're like, what do we do? Like, there's 3 of them. They got the overshield. If we try to go in, they're just going to kill us. And then I forget. Oh, it was Merc. Merc is just like, let's all just jump the Titan. Let's all just jump in the bubble and try to see if we can kill the Titan. So we literally all just jumped and shot at the Titan. And then I forget who it was. Oh, Ghost of Starman popped his Spectral Blades and just like cleaned up. And it was
Cleaned
perfect.
up.
We were like,
Most
oh my
hideous,
God.
the most hideous, insane, evil laughter from all of them. Like
Gunga's laugh is so obnoxious. It's amazing.
It was pure vindictive laughter, and it was funny because y'all jumped the Titan dude and just straight deleted him.
We did.
from
We all
every
targeted him
existence.
immediately.
That's awesome.
Throughout every universe, he's gone. That
The best
bubble
part
did
is,
not work.
so we beat him a game before. We rematched, and then we did really well. Like the first 3 or 4 rounds, we were kind of slaying them, and then we messed up, and they started bringing him back. And we're like, oh no, this is how we lose. And they started teabagging and stuff because they're coming back. And then that happened, and we just mashed. It was like, it was a good time. Actually,
So,
I had a fun last
Put
night too.
instincts there to take him out. Nice.
Isn't Gunga technically like she has not forgotten now, right? Like she's already there.
She's still working for it,
Oh,
man.
she's still working. I thought she got it for some reason.
She's
I was like,
1,000 points
close,
behind.
though.
She's like 4,500, I think, right now.
Do you have
I
it?
know. No, I don't have. I'm at 1,000. So this is yesterday was the first time I touched the season.
You got Luna's though, right? Last season.
yeah.
Okay.
I was actually planning on getting the last word today, but what happened? We went out and we were behind schedule, so we ended up not jumping on. Casey or Gunga ended up playing Kingdom Hearts 3 instead, and then me
That's
and my
another
roommate
game.
ended up
Yeah.
playing Pikmin 3. So
Chad, you said that you hit up comp a little bit too. Is that what you were saying? You were playing on PS4 a little bit?
Yeah, I started playing PS4 a couple weeks ago because I mostly ran out of things I wanted to do on PC. So just wanted to go back to the
Nice.
sticks, go back to the roots a little bit.
Yeah.
Find the thumbs.
I also wanted to try to get more feel today on the new meta with Last Word, how it affects the PS4, because I've been playing it so much on PC the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same way it affected PCs, just more sniper viability, people using fusion rifles more often. But honestly, PS4 before Last Word came out had more sniper and fusion rifle viability, it felt like, because on PC PC is like a sliding meta, while PS4 is like a jumping meta for channeling, like attacking lanes and stuff. Because you're committed more on a lane if you go into it, because PC can just 180 instantly and slide right back out.
Yeah,
if it's like you slide in, oh man, this is bad, and slide right out and you're good. Whereas on PS4, once you slide in, if it's bad, you can't really turn and slide out, so you're kind of already there. So fusion rifles just, well, you're screwed now, buddy. And then snipers are just landing it, so you're done. So they've always been more viable, it felt like. So I feel like the Last Word edition hasn't really adjusted or affected the meta that much on PS4, but on PC the meta is like way more balanced, it feels, with Last Word coming in for sure.
Wait, we're talking about the Last Word? Is this Destiny 1? The Last Word's not in Destiny 2, guys.
Ooh, for us it is
no.
hope.
Back.
It's
back.
Yeah, Wilson, you jumped
For
on
us,
it fast.
that was supposed
you
to
had
be
that
like
quest
we're the
done.
news. Like we're supposed to tell people, guess what? You're the worst.
No, we don't.
You're
have
the worst.
news.
I'm not.
Blockbuster does the news, remember?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
What? Wilson, you I saw like immediately like had the last word. Like you went after it, didn't you?
I did. I didn't get it before. The first people in our clan that I saw that got it were TV and Winnie. They had it. They had it like
Shocker.
an hour before. I know, right?
Yeah.
They had it like an hour before me. But I went in super quick. I was efficient about my farming for like lost sectors and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Going on to Titan, going down and seeing the big ogre or whatever. Just farming that over and over and popping headshots. And the Crucible portion felt really forgiving compared to the original.
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah, the 500
for didn't
void
Taken
kills.
King make you do that for the last
Mhm.
word? Yeah, way more forgiving than that. So that was cool. I don't know if like because of the whole like assist kill thing. I don't know if that
Yeah.
was
Part
of it.
I do want to dig into this conversation more, like about the quest and everything, but we'll hold off on like opinions about difficulty for now. But I do want to get your take on how it feels having the last word again, sniping more again. I know that sniping is one thing that you have talked about a lot on this podcast, like wishing there were more options for it.
yeah, man.
So how does it feel having that option in your hands now?
It pairs like bread and butter, dude. I'm just a little elf on a shelf, just sniping people out. Like it's really good, man. Like it's good to have. Like I'm backpedaling, shoulder charging people. I'm backpedaling shotguns. Like it feels good to be like, okay, I got a sniper. I can do what I love to do and try to get better at it in this game. And just like let go for once. Just be like, sniper, last word, not changing my loadout. just gonna make it work. And it just pairs so well, man, and it feels good. Hunter, like Chad was saying, the console meta to jump in the air when you engage a lane, feels so good to just aim from the hip and just connect, man. It feels amazing. Like, I can't get enough of it. I was really worried that the 180 archetype and no bonus damage of any kind when it got leaked, I was really scared that it was going to be not so good. But it's amazing, and I'm glad to have it. Really good. It's made me play more Crucible.
Yeah,
because you know that
get it for sure.
I've talked so many times that like the thing I loved the most of all of Destiny, like the most iconic thing for me that always makes me think Destiny, is Hunter Last Word Sniper. Like that is Destiny to me.
And seeing people with, what is it, lucky pants that makes you like draw it super fast and everything, like it looks so smooth. Like, it makes me jealous. Like, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had my Hunter leveled up.
That's what I call my favorite jeans when I go out on the weekend.
Like your lucky pants.
Except when you slipped, fell, landed on your. Oh, never mind.
When did that?
I've been using. I got 6 Coyote yesterday from a random PvP match. Finally got it, and it pairs really well with Last Word too, man. I got like, what is that? 24 shots that I could just space cowboy, and I can derp some shots. I can be like, shit's so intense, I don't even want to look at my bullets right now. I'm just gonna dodge, reload, and go right back at it again, and it's fun. And scavenger perk for sniper rifles, I've been sleeping on scavenger perks, man. And now every time I pick up an ammo brick, I get like 3 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's good,
awesome.
because then I can like try to take stupid shots and get some fun clips. Like, whereas before you only had a couple shots and you're like, damn, I really got to make this thing count. Like, so it feels good to be back to sniping, man. It's the most fun I've had in the Crucible in a very long time, and I think I said that on Twitter today.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Triton, did you get your kids to do the tedious part of this quest, or?
So my kids have hit the wall for Destiny, man. They're out, and so like
they
the
didn't like do
progress-
anything wrong, that it could be like some form of punishment.
No,
or...
it's not like the
Capital
malfeasance where I
punishment.
was like very close to getting it. I mean, I was on my third time of getting it, but I was like very close to getting it, and then within one match managed to lose like an insane amount of mode. So it's not like that, but they're just kind of like, I want to play another game. You know, they're not so much fun doing Destiny anymore, so my progress has not been great.
You just
to say
gotta
the
tell
least.
them that if they get this stuff for you, you'll give them a big bowl of Zatarans when they're done.
Big bowl of
Yeah,
Saturn.
that's probably not
Sounds
going to be
delicious,
the...
actually.
What, like
Aaron sounds amazing.
Sounds so good.
Oh my god.
So
man.
they haven't really done very much. I mean, I was in a routine where I would just sign on and get like the 2 enhancement cores and kind of sign off. Like, I'm at that point on the PS4. I mean, that's the only console I play on. So, you know, probably where Chad was at the end of PC. Like, there's so many things that I'd done. Everything was 650 that I wanted. All my classes are leveled up. I've done every raid, all those types of things that I was just kind of giving it a little bit of a break. Before I kind of came back to it. And I did mean to come back to it this week because of the Last Word, but ended up my oldest son got Assassin's Creed Odyssey for Christmas, and I was just like, man, I just want to play something else. So I threw that in there, and I've been pretty hooked since, you know, the early part of the week. So once Anthem went down on like late Sunday, I've pretty much been playing it nonstop this week, as much as like right up against like ignoring responsibility time. So I mean, I've been pretty hooked. So played it a fair amount, enjoyed that, but you know, definitely going to try to get into Destiny, get back and get the Last Word sometime this week.
Yeah, that's actually a good jumping point for me to talk about like how it's been for me, because where you're at now is where I was at for like the past like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Is I've been playing a lot of PUBG on PS4 actually, because I don't really have PC right now, and so been playing a lot of that, and they released the new winter map and everything for the PS4, all like the way it plays on PC, it plays like that on PS4 now, which is really fun. But and so I'd been really, every time I would jump on to Destiny for the week, I would just jump on to do the 2 powerful Ingram things for the Forge for a chance of getting Jotun or the bow. I still didn't have the exotic bow, Monarch.
Le Monarch?
So Le Monarch, yes.
I
And,
even have that Lego.
I know. Oh, you got it the first time though, and
I
so
did. First day.
I was doing that every week. Like, this is gonna be it. I'm gonna get something, and I was just waiting. Hadn't got anything yet, and then finally, this week I go to turn in everything. I did the Last Word quest, so I did that right away, and then as I completed that, I went and turned in a bounty immediately. got the La Monarque right from the first forge, and then I went and did the next powerful engram and got Jotun right after that. So I was like,
Nice.
I just got I have so much to play around with right now. And so that was it was like Tuesday night, I guess, and that was the first night where I was like, I couldn't stop playing Destiny. There was just so many things to try with the new patch. Like I was trying out the buffed auto rifles, all the rapid fire stuff, the buffed scout rifles, the rapid fire ones of those had been buffed as well. Other scout rifles, people were like, oh, you got to try the purpose, like the old trial scout and stuff. Like they're like, try this one out. We were playing with Fatebringer and like some other people. A super professor was with us. And it was just like a blast, just trying out all these different guns that weren't viable before, and now they are, and also trying out the way the supers work against each other with the way that they've updated those. And so I had a ton of fun, like you, Wilson, trying out the last word again, pairing it with a sniper, even on a Titan. Like it was still really fun. And trying out Jotun too. But my favorite thing of my entire week was trying rapid fire auto rifles with a fusion rifle. Like it was so, it felt like I was playing D1 with Doctrine of Passing and the Thiessen. Like it felt like that combo again for me, and I was like, this is it, this is home, So I'm excited to try that some more, and even try out some of the 720 RPM auto rifles in the energy slot with like some of my sniper rifles in the kinetic. So that'll be fun later on. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with all this new stuff. I just have everything to try now that I've been waiting on weeks for getting. So have any of y'all got Jotun yet? Has anyone else tried it? What do y'all think about it?
2 episodes ago.
I haven't.
You really hope?
Is that it?
No, I don't.
I didn't think he did, because we went through this last week, and if he hasn't touched it,
We didn't go through it last week because we didn't have a show
2 weeks.
last week.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we talked about it.
Okay. Chad, what did you think about it? I'm curious your thoughts.
It's really fun to use like a Mega Man blaster, like a Buster Shot kind of deal, which is really cool. So I like that they're adding more like cool, unique feeling weapons like Jotun into the game. So it's not just, this also shoots bullets. Here you go. It just looks different. This actually does something different.
Yeah,
like, that's one of the reasons like I always loved Hard Light, is because it compacted balls of energy, light and shot, which is like a unique feel. So Jotun does that too, which is really cool, because I just want more of that in Destiny for sure. But I'm not really a kind of person who likes to sit in the middle range. I either like to 8 people and just turn my brain off, or I like to go for like crazy snipe plays or something and like aggressively attack lanes with like sniper angles and stuff. Sitting there and working the mid range and like trying to bait hallways to make people overcommit to lanes and stuff like that isn't really like my thing. So I'm not really a middle range kind of guy. So it doesn't really it doesn't really fit my play
that
style.
Makes sense.
It was fun. I messed around with it a little bit. It was really fun to use. So I can understand why a lot of people would love it, for people who prefer stuff like fusion rifles.
I actually ended up that same way. Like it was fun to use, and I really appreciate the variety that it brings. Like it's something completely different. It's not really great up close when you have to use it just right at mid range, but it still wasn't like, I still found myself like, I'm just gonna put on a normal air intel, like a normal fusion rifle, because it's just more viable for me. But it is cool to have something that works really well when it does work, and it's like, okay, I have that option, kind of like Black Talon. That's a really fun sword to use when it's used in a really cool way, but it's not like I'm gonna want to use that in comp necessarily or whatever, but it'd still be fine. It's not like you couldn't do good with it. It's just cool to have all those different options. You were talking about your play style, Chad. We haven't had you on the show in quite a while, and so I kind of wanted to catch up.
I blame Lego.
Well, I would definitely blame Hove for this, Chad not being here, because he's obviously just one of the best guests we've ever had. So,
oh my god,
in yo's Hove, in yo's.
But I wanted to catch up and see like
the show over here or something.
He's gone. Wanted to catch up and see like where you were at with Destiny. Like when you do play, you talked about your play style a little bit, like what you enjoy doing in D2 right now. So yeah, just kind of catch up and see where you are with everything.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said before, I definitely enjoy aping people. I actually have a clip from a long time ago when I was doing trials where I just literally stood up on a chair and like acted like an ape while actively aping people. So some good times for sure. Actually, with the last word coming out yesterday, I was just trying out Last Word Shotgun, Titan Skate on PC,
Oh
One Eye
man.
Mask. I did that with the new Burning Ball Super, which actually is definitely feeling more viable. It still doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like the best still. I would probably, if I was trying to be serious as a Sunbreaker, I'd use the regular hammers, the top tree hammers instead of the seeking ones, but it feels a lot better. But I was just skating around, and yeah, last word shotgun, I just went in all the time and got a wee ran of medals on like my third match and just going for it. So it's actually like insane. Sorry, you mentioned like play style, and I just instantly thought about that, and then just couldn't stop thinking about that game. It just felt so ridiculous that I just didn't put any care at all. I just went for it, and I was able to get away with it because last word is actually like insanely accurate range. If you like tap your shot, ADSing and stuff. But
I saw you put a clip out, I think, of you. It was like on what's the Bannerfall map where you're just like peeking and just tapping and kill the guy from so far away. You're like, what?
Super far away. It's like what you wouldn't really think a hand cannon distance would be in general, but it's the last word doing it. So it was pretty good. The damage fall off definitely affected, but for Destiny stuff, I didn't just messing around with quick play as of late because of sandbox changes and stuff. I got into doing speedrunning for a while. I got with a really cool group of people. A clanmate of mine introduced me to them. So we were going for it. We got the world record time for Last Wish and held that for a while, and then like we got redeeming stuff, which was like crazy.
That's really
awesome.
awesome.
Regarded as like the gods of PvE and stuff. So it felt really good. And then for Scourge of Past, we're currently the world record holders for the standard version of the grade.
Nice.
A lot of people went for the ball cheese or whatever, where you just take the Berserker bomb and use that as like a tank shot supplement or alternative, which just got patched, so that's no longer a category people can do anymore. So it's like going to get shifted to like legacy times. So now we're back to world record of normal times, but I'm sure somebody's going to beat us when they go for it because we haven't ran for a while. But that's been fun. I've been getting into doing a lot of journalism stuff, covering mostly Destiny and other shooter RPGs like Anthem and Division 2, which has been really fun.
That's cool.
And I've just been trying to find other ways of getting involved, because for so many years I was just like, I just did Sherpa status stuff, which was fun and rewarding. But that's what I was known for, was just Sherpa stuff, raids and trials. And then now trials isn't a thing anymore. Comp isn't really a format you can do Sherpa stuff with, just because of how like the matchmaking works. It goes off of the highest glory rank and stuff. And a lot of people just moved on. All of my PvP friends that did trials help with me moved on to like Fortnite and stuff. So I was like, well, I can't really do a solo, and raid situation is kind of the same. So that plus I did Sherpa stuff for years. I want to do something different. So I've been finding new things I can do with Destiny, which would be like the try-harding PvE stuff. Like I did solo, Shattered Throne, Flawless and stuff. So I was able to go for it, PvE try-harding, and then now I can do journalism. So I'm just trying to find different angles of how I can contribute content-wise within the Destiny community, which has been really fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always found most interesting since we had met you, that like the just sheer number of things you've kind of gotten into. Like when I first came across you, it was you absolutely embarrassing us in trials, and I was like, that guy's a god. They killed us faster than anybody, because it was the first week. I'll never forget this. It was the first weekend of, maybe not the first, but it was first time it was Bannerfall for trials, and you were running with VSES and somebody else, all Twilight Garrisons. Nobody ever, like, we couldn't even get out of our spawn. You guys were like on, we didn't know what to do. Everyone was still using Twilight Garrison like as a gimmick, like just dodging back and forth, and they were just flying at us and killing. And we were like, what do we do? And we were just dead.
They were ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And then, like you said, world record holder for speed runs and raids. I know you were doing some like shoutcasting there for a little bit, right? Doing some journalism stuff. Didn't you win the streamer racing league too?
Yeah.
Like everything there is. Like that's so cool to me.
Variety of things.
You know what he is? He's the people's champion of Destiny. Straight up. The people's champ. That's gonna be his nickname from now on.
That's the title of this episode at ResoCast, episode 120. The People's Champ.
The People's Chad.
The last word. The People's Champ is the last word coming back. Sure.
I think I gave Chad like a People's Champ type of award, like maybe 5-6 episodes ago at the end of one of our episodes.
Yeah, we gave awards,
didn't you?
Yeah. No, I had like that one episode award show that only went to Chad as the only award winner. was that episode. For being for the people, though, I always thought it was impressive. For doing all the things that you do, Chad, I think I constantly notice that, someone will tweet at you and they're not also necessarily, like, I'll call them a known person, or it's not somebody. It just might be someone who's, like, literally just asking you a question or interested in something you're talking about, and you'll always seemingly have a conversation with that person. It's never for you about where does interacting with this person, like, lead me. It's always just about being a part of the community, trying to just, advance knowledge and things like that. And I think that's fantastic. So you got the only award in Triton's one-day award show. Like,
I also want to add, besides PvP, PvE, journalism, all that, also there was the very clearly best dressed at GuardianCon the first year too.
Yes.
But also Matt Grundy in chat just coined Chadlantis. I like it.
Thank you.
That's good. That's nice. We had someone. I just wanted to call out Matt Grundy for a second, because we had somebody comment on an episode, like a YouTube episode, and they were like, "Man, that Matt Grundy guy, like, he gets mentioned every single week." Like,
are you serious? I missed that.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're active in chat, man. Get that presence going.
He's the MVP.
For sure. Yeah, with the responding to Twitter thing, I've had plenty of times in my life where I got the bad end, where, like, I wasn't important enough and didn't have enough clout or whatever, and man, that sucks. That is not a fun feeling when people are like, "Oh, you're not really important," just brush you off to the side or something, or like you either that, so it's like straight up in your face, like you're not important, and get the cold shoulder, or you just straight up get ignored. You'll send messages and you're not trying to be a nuisance, but you want to try to get a response, but you just never get a response, get ignored. That never feels good. It doesn't feel good getting copy pasted either. Like if somebody just sends you a generic response, copy paste. Right. So I always want to try, if I can, respond to everybody. And I'm sure, like, if there's some crazy future where I blow up or something, then there's like a limit to how much you can actually respond to in a day. But as much as I can, and I'm definitely in that spot right now where I can do it, I want to respond to people as much as possible, just to give them unique, genuine responses, and make them feel like they actually get their voice heard. Like there's no duplicity in my responses, no copy pasta. Is just let them know that they're as valuable, because everybody's a person equally to other people. Actually, like, I had a job before where I worked at a cafe for a church, and the pastor for the church is like thousands of people in the congregation and stuff. The pastor comes up to the cafe and like orders a drink, and then I just treat him just like any other customer, like, legitimately another person, treat him just as well as anybody else. And then my coworker's like, "Wow, why'd you treat him like that?" And blah blah blah. They're like, that was the pastor, and blah, talking up the person as like a celebrity. And I was like, well, I would hope that he would want to think of himself as a pastor to be just like anybody else. So there's no reason to think of anybody else to be a celebrity. You can give people respect for doing crazy cool things, celebritize them for that and stuff, but I always like to regard everybody else as being completely equal to each other. And then if they're doing crazy respectful things, then I would hold them to higher respect. And then if they're doing super disrespectful things, then I'd hold them to lower respect, obviously. But everybody comes in neutral, like not even with everybody else at all times. So I think that's been like a big thing for me with streaming, especially, is making sure everybody feels like they're equal with each other in the community and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, like I wasn't especially nice to the lady today at Wendy's who threw my sandwich at her coworker because she made it wrong.
Whoa.
That happens.
Go too.
She threw
Right,
a
Homestead.
sandwich.
Yeah, she made it wrong,
coworker.
and then she was like, "It does." They were arguing over whether she like didn't read it right or if it wasn't put in right. So she fucking threw it at her. It went all over the place. It was still there when I left too.
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Were you in the
Holy
drive-thru or
shit.
at the counter?
I was in the counter because my windows were frozen closed.
Oh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So that was just happening in front of you, just like that.
Oh yeah, and then they were arguing. They were talking about going to Hot Box after me and this other one customer, and they were done. It was great. It was super professional.
It's like a food scene of Saving Private Ryan, just scatter food all over the kitchen there.
Speaking of Wendy's, I saw that like Snapchat filters works on Wendy's on the cups, and people
on
were
the
like
face?
like using their Snapchat filter with like the Wendy's face on the cup, and I don't know if it's fake, but it was terrifying. The videos that I saw, I mean, nightmare fueled. It was like Wendy's eyes moving around all crazy.
Oh,
it was
God.
hilarious. It's
That's
on
awesome.
Twitter, so I'm sure it's not hard to find.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Well, It's great to hear how you're doing, Chad, and I don't think it would surprise any of us if you did just blow up in some hilariously amazing way, because of like the way that you treat other people, like you were talking about. So, like you said, we love you being on the show, man, and we're glad you're here. We're going to jump into a little bit of Destiny conversation. There's always drama. Anything new comes out, there's some sort of Twitter drama over something. And this week, I don't want to just be a drama podcast, but it does seem to be
Drama alert.
Yeah, an issue with the community right now is the way the Last Word quest is, which Wilson pointed out. It's like way easier than some of the D1 quests we got, but it's still, to this community, like, they're like, some people are like, this is a problem for me, and then so you got half the people are like, this is, you got different takes. Like, you got some people on one side that are like, yeah, you need to be good to be able to get this, or you need to be able to do the things, and some people are very rude about how you need to get like, they're just like, you need to get good, whatever, blah blah blah. And then you got people on the other side that are just like, I just can't, I don't know what to do. So what, I'm just gonna open the floor up, kind of like, did y'all have any thoughts on the whole conversation going? Hove does.
Well, my thing
Always hear he.
I was gonna say,
Every time.
I have a microphone in my face. I like to use it right now.
So first of all, the biggest complaint that I'm seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, besides just a generic, I can't do this, it's too hard, whatever, is the fact that, like, people are mad that they have to go in and do PvP stuff, right? Like, that seems to be a big complaint. Like, why do I have to do PvP? It's hard, like, yada,
I mean,
yada, yada.
The main thing isn't that it's just PvP, it's that it's a PvP that requires a certain level of skill.
Like, that was
Any
mostly a
levels.
rhetorical question, but thank you for answering.
Jesus, savage.
Here's my thing.
Man.
Today's what? Thursday, right? It came out on Tuesday. It's a
did.
quest, not a daily bounty. Like, yes, I realize there's a lot of people who grinded it out. There's people that got it in an hour or whatever, but, like, it's a quest. Like, take some time. Like, work on it. See what happens. And, like, it's every time something comes out where you have to succeed in PvP to achieve it, it seems to draw backlash. But, I mean, what about the flip side? People that like to play PvP and they have to go do a raid to get 1,000 voices or whatever else it may be. I just don't know why we don't hear that as much as we do this side of it. Do you know what I mean? It just seems a little overblown.
Which, especially since, like, it's a quest that you can do whenever, right? Like, there's no time, there's no nothing. It's just like, you go talk to the Drifter, activate it, and you start it. You can work on it at your own pace. And it's the first week. It's the first couple days in the first week that's out.
Yeah, and
So
these
that's why,
complaints started the day of. And yeah, I realize there's people that got it already. But there's always going to be people better at any one given thing than others. I mean, that's the world, It just, I don't know. It just seems like it's a little overblown to me, and I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, just take some time, work on it. It'll happen.
You'd be surprised, like, people who say they can't do it, and, like, I hate to be like a motivational speaker because normally that's not my thing, but, like, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish if you just
I hate to be a
try.
positive person.
You know what I mean? And then you go talk to the Drifter, you go or broke ass Mana, whatever you want to call him. I cannot. Ever since Mana said that the Drifter looks like a busted ass version of him, I can't.
I think Mana looks like a busted ass version of the Drifter.
Oh,
That's better, actually. That's probably more accurate description.
you
Dark
go
Mana.
Yeah, right. Go pick up some friends and just make a conscious effort to think about what you're doing every step of the way through Crucible, and you'd be surprised what would happen. Like, but Hope, you brought up a good point about Crucible players never bitching about having to go into the raid to get something. That's because if you dangle a carrot in front of a tryhard, they're gonna accomplish everything.
But there's tryhard PvE players.
There is, but like it's different. It's like an alpha tryhard. You know what I mean? Like there's PvP tryhards who are very cool, very nice, and then there's like your alpha tryhard PvP players, and you put that carrot in any activity that gives them an advantage, they're gonna go for it and they're gonna get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a big difference is like the player mentalities. Typically, PvP players are used to not a controlled environment. It's it's like a fire going on at all times. You're constantly adapting to different things happening.
Right.
So then if you translate that, being used to that going into a controlled environment PvE, is a little bit easier to kind of transition. Like, oh, I can just see the pattern of the enemy is moving and just do it. Whereas people who prefer PvE controlled environments, so they have to transfer over to like a chaos environment of PvP. It's that transition would be more stressful for somebody not used to it than if somebody's used to that stress and then goes into a controlled environment. While it's definitely challenging as well, and respectfully so, it's just, I feel like the transition back and forth is less stressful. Like I'm a hybrid player. I love playing both. We already talked about it. When I go to do PvP, I experience more stress levels than if I'm playing PvE content, because PvE content, you do it enough, you get used to it, you can realize, oh, they add spawn in that specific spot, we can just throw a grenade there, easy. All right, and then the next spot, we gotta shoot this thing. All right, cool. And then we get ready to shoot that thing, and then it's controlled. You can figure out the pattern and then get used to it, and all you have to do then is just execute. Whereas PvP, sure, there's patterns you can find in other players' like tendencies, which is a big part about getting good at PvP, but you never know when somebody's going to do some wild different thing out of nowhere and they have to react to it. So I think it's just a stress level thing for a lot of PvE focused players, that they're just not used to that. So I think it impacts them more than whenever a PvP player goes and gets like a Riven kill for 1,000 voices chance or something.
What's that? It's just like the mindset of just like, I really want to get this done. So maybe like they're going to start doing like stupid things to try to like rush it. You're like, yeah, I'm going to have to do this. Let's get in there. And they're going to try, as fast as possible. And then there's like, it's not working. It's still not working. And then that's, frustration rises. More dumb things, because I do that a lot too. Like in comp, I make dumb decisions too, because like I feel like I can just rush in there, or I whiff my shotgun shot. Now it's, I blame lag or something, it's just, so I do it again because I'm the type of guy that, I get frustrated. So I keep on trying to do it to prove myself, or whoever's making fun of me wrong,
Nobody ever makes fun of that. I do think it's important for anyone who's having a hard time though, for whatever it may be, because this is something that, especially recently, like I was saying, I'm very close to Diamond in Overwatch. I've been teetering back and forth between like 2,900 and damn near 3,000, like for like 3 days. And the biggest thing, like, even if I win 2 or 3 games in a row, if I then lose 2, even if I'm now 6-2, I call it for a little bit. Like, if things aren't working, just relax, step away. It may not, you may not think you're doing anything different, but you're probably pushing, you're probably pressuring yourself. Maybe you're tired, whatever it is. Just relax, go do something else. Like Mana said, the quest isn't going anywhere. It just started.
Yeah.
You got some time. You'll get there.
I think I'm with Hove, like echoing a few things. Before I do that, though, one thing that really stood out was the number of people that would say like PvP and kind of complain about it on Twitter. And I think maybe like because it's so many people saying that with one voice, we can kind of interpret it as like this is bad. But I think some of the complaint is more like, oh, this part is difficult. Like I'm taking time. It's more like saying I'm taking time on this part. This part's taking me a while, more than a complaint like I don't want it to be this way. I hate this. Maybe it could be.
I'm sure some of it is, but I have seen.
Some of it is.
I have definitely seen a lot of very clear. This shouldn't be this way. I hate it. I'm not doing it.
For sure. I just don't think that's all of it.
No, absolutely not.
And one of the reasons why is because I'll see people that say like, oh man, this is so difficult. And they'll be at like 5%. And then they'll post a picture the next day and they'll be like, man, this is taking so long, but they're at 50%. And I'm like, oh, they're doing it. Like they're pushing through like that. They're going to have. And so I was talking with Super Professor the other night when we were playing with him, and he hadn't started working on the Crucible part of the quest at all. And he got to like 50% playing with me and Fatebringer and some other people, just like getting assists like behind us, like, I mean, I'm sure he was getting kills too and stuff. It's just easier playing in a group and getting that done. And he was talking about how, man, this is actually easier than like the Thorn Void quest.
Oh, that was awful.
What I was going to say.
Yeah. Cause he was like, I remember doing that. And the thing is like, even though he's more of a PvE guy, like whenever he got done with that part, it felt like an accomplishment for him. And he was I got this thing, I earned it. And like, he felt really good 100%. About it too.
Like I'm taking like the old man approach when I see that on Twitter. I want to be like, sit around, youngins. Grandpa's going to tell you a story about a gun called Thorn and how horrible it was. And not every class, Hunters didn't have a Void class then. And like there was all kinds of shenanigans going on with that. I remember I did that for Sam during the height of Shotgun Thorn, and I think I had to do it with she had an Atheon's epilogue, and it was just absolute trash. But I came home one day and she's like, will you do this for me? And like, she never asked me to do shit for her, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And sat down, and for whatever reason, dude, that Atheon's epilogue was ripping that day, man. So I got the quest done really pretty quick, but it's nothing compared to that Thorn quest. You're absolutely right.
Well,
and not only did real quick, I was saying, not only did hunters not have a void class at the time, but even there was no sentinel. It was just bubble for Titan. So like,
you had a grenade.
Yeah, you had a grenade. Yeah. So I had a 77 wizard that carried me through.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
What was the shotgun from Vault of Glass? That's what I went with. Whatever the shotgun was from the Vault of Glass.
Well, no, that was Arc though.
Yeah, it was the second one, the Crota one that had
the Crota one, Swordbreaker.
Yeah, Swordbreaker. Yep.
Swordbreaker. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, was it also the hand cannon that was also Void?
Ward of Crota. Yeah.
Yeah, Ward of Crota.
I was gonna say that the second part to this whole thing is about like people taking their time and everything. Like everybody's trying to like just speed skating through it, and expecting just razzmatazz just to have it, But I think that with like everybody trying to get it so quick, it's something that you can work on like towards something, and it's just like I know. I want to take into consideration what Chad said, because I think it's really important that going from PvE to PvP can be kind of shocking, that stress and that pressure. So it's definitely different. But at the same time, there is a correlation between like the way that when PvP players come into PvE to learn the aspects of the raid, and the PvE players are like, okay, this is what you do, and you got to do this, and they're kind of leading the way. Like you can do that with this quest the other way. Like you get your PvP player friends, or just say like, I need help on, there's like plenty of Discord servers out there that help people do these kind of things, or people like Crucible Radio or the Crucible Playbook Reddit, like to get tips and to make yourself better, learn how to like stay in a pack and get those assists to get the quest done, or stuff like I saw one post that was talking about how giving advice to jump into Rumble, because it's skill-based matchmaking in Rumble, and so you're pitted against even players, and as long as you do get above a 0.5, you'll make progress on the quest. And so just stuff like that, like our players helping each other out.
Yeah,
like, I think it's really good.
So what you're trying to say, like with all that, is that you don't have to be Nikola Tesla, right?
No, you don't got to be no Nikola Tesla to get your last word.
It's like between her and Uma Thurman, like somewhere in the middle.
He's a god.
The one thing, going back a little bit, it's funny because the point that you just kind of explained a little bit more, and that Chad brought up with the whole controlled environment versus kind of chaos. It's funny because we've talked about that exact same difference from a totally different point of view before, in the sense that that's the reason that we continued playing PvP past PvE staleness. Not so much chaos versus what's coming, but just the fact that it's different every time. It's more, it can be, for some people can be more engaging. It's unpredictable. It's different every time. Whereas PvE, you're eventually gonna see everything there is to see. Whereas PvP, you will never see the same match twice.
Absolutely.
That's what got me into doing speedrunning, was the fact that the only thing you can really do after PvE gets stale is just try to do crazy challenges, try to like push yourself to do something that's definitely not necessary, but the only way you can make it exciting again is to try to do some crazy feat that most people can't do, so you try to push yourself. Whereas in PvP, you're naturally pushing yourself all the time, so that feeling of overcoming some kind of challenge, every game is a challenge you can overcome in PvP, whereas PvE, you have to create your own challenges to overcome to make it more exciting.
A good point, man. That's a good point. I think it was DMG retweeted something from somebody at Bungie. It was saying like, for as much as this community helps people out through raids and other PvE activities, we need to do the same for PvP. You know what I mean? Like if you're out there and you feel like you could help some people and give them some good guidance, throw something out there on Twitter. I mean, hell, at Ryu Wilson, me, if you need help getting your last word sometime this weekend, or just need someone to roll with, tweet me. I'll open my fire team. We'll do this. It's a lot of fun. Like, and And there's a lot of people out there that do lots of PvP helps. I mean, shout outs again to Ryan Rhythm. Like, he's at like 76 not forgotten now.
Yeah,
76.
him and Joe Overrated have been going in for sure.
Right.
Yeah, him and Joey are nuts, dude. And then like Joey will just stop slam people and then like start building his chair on stream. Like after that, he was putting his chair together today.
Completely disconnects.
I love Joey. Shout outs to Joe Overrated, man, and Rhythm. Two really good guys out there doing the Lord's work in Crucible. You know what I mean? Like just helping people out. And so good guys.
That's cool.
For sure.
Well, I think we kind of landed on that one. Is there anything else that's been new with the update that you guys are enjoying? I know they did a lot of super changes, a lot of weapon balancing stuff. Is there anything that y'all have been enjoying or seen a difference in that you're like, oh, yeah, this, or that you still want to change maybe?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts for balancing for sure. I've always wanted Destiny to get on a more frequent balancing thing because it feels like every time they balance something, it's like almost half a year. Like it's been 4 months since our last major sandbox change, which was when Forsaken came, and
which is when they said they were going to update it more frequently, and we were like,
that was one of the big selling points for Destiny 2 in the first place when we were going to get to Destiny 2 launching, was that they change their systems, they can tweak things, going to be buffed or nerfed for every individual weapon, so they have systems for that and all this stuff, and they promise more frequent updates, and then it just didn't really come, and it's still kind of in that spot. Maybe with the Activision leaving departure thing and Bungie, maybe that could lead to freedoms to do
it
more.
could.
We'll see. Or maybe it was always Bungie that's just been slow at it. Who knows? But when they do patches, they seem to either not do enough, so it felt like the whole wait was for nothing, or the overcorrect things, and it felt like, man, I wish we could get a follow-up update, maybe buff it a little bit because you nerfed it too hard. Like Nova Warp, they just destroyed Nova Warp super. I feel like I used to main Nova Warp, not because it was overpowered, which is a reason, like if I want to do something overpowered, just be Titan skating all the time when I mask. But I did Nova Warp because it was powerful, but I really enjoy launching myself all over the place. It's just really fun for me. I can be like out of the Dragon Ball Z series, like just doing these teleport attacks. I think it was really fun. I actually did a Nova Warp versus Nova Warp battle in Mayhem with a friend of mine, just a 1v1 pirate match, and we were just warp all over the place trying to get the explosions off. It was really fun, but they destroyed it to where the neutral game's still great with handheld Supernova, and the melee is amazing, so the neutral game is still super good, but then the super is so bad now. It's a shame. But then on the flip side, they buff like Cataclysm Bomb, which is amazing shutdown super now. I've been loving it. A friend of mine said he's going to be a Cataclysm Bomb main now because the bomb is faster for tracking, has a wider AoE for killing range, which is actually insane, and the Seeker Orbs also are faster for
they are
down. It's so good for
You're not paying attention, dude. Some things will creep around the corner and be like, shit, he ain't looking, and then they'll come and get you. Like, and I'll hear him. I'll be like, what the fuck is that? And I'll turn around and be like, shit, and like just get lit up.
Exactly.
Didn't they buff? Didn't they buff the what's a scatter grenades too for warlocks? Have y'all tried that out yet? Someone was saying that it like they were complaining about it. They're like, oh man, I died to this thing. Did they buff these? And I thought in the patch notes I saw something about it, but maybe it was just the Seeker things from the Cataclysm Nova.
I didn't see the scatter grenades in the notes.
I won't throw a scatter grenade until I get nothing manacles back.
Same.
Those are awesome.
Those were fun, man. That made those grenades fun, and they made cool noises too, man. When they hit the ground, like I like it, the uniqueness of the grenade sounds.
Except for when they bounced.
If you put them, if you put them in water, if there was a puddle and you threw it in a puddle, it would just bounce.
Was it like a gremlin? You can't feed it after midnight or get it wet.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get it wet.
Oh, I bet you will.
Well, then.
Just don't slip and fall on your weenus again.
Why do you keep saying that like that happened or something?
No, this is your weenus.
He said weenus,
Yeah, I know, but you said before, like, oh, something about your pants until you slipped and fell.
You just had to dream up some scenario that you ended up in the hospital for, because you wouldn't tell us at first. So.
I did tell you.
I was like, he's
later.
I told everybody. The whole world.
Later, though.
Yeah, it was quite a wait.
Yeah, I thought like American.
You kept us guessing.
Well, after I sent you the picture, I fell asleep watching Criminal Minds. in the hospital bed.
He was drugged up.
Yeah.
Doped out.
Wilson,
of his
what were you gonna
mind.
say? You were gonna say-
Golden gun, 6-shot
Oh,
is
yeah.
so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like I could panic shoot people and get bullets back. It feels so good. Like, man, I've gotten. It's hard to judge sometimes. Like when there's a big group of people, and you double tap one in their super, and then it just feels like I just panic, and it just feels like everyone else is in their super, so I just cut loose on the rest of them. And I'm like, shit, I still got like 3 of these left. Like I need to move up. Like it feels really good. I haven't tried it in PvE to see like how many things you could.
Ooh,
Like if a big
yeah.
horde of enemies comes at you, like, but it's like the way I've always fantasized Golden Gun, because you know what I mean. In the lore, like they don't have super meters, you know, this and that. Like they just pop supers when they feel like it. You know what I mean? So like,
You don't know that. Maybe they do. Have
I
a
do know
meter
that actually. I'm a goddamn guardian. All right.
in real life.
But it makes you feel really powerful. Like I can only imagine what it feels like in PvE if there's just like a horde of 10, 15 enemies and you can Goldie all of them. I want to
Well,
try
talking about that, the Striker Titan got the basically an unlimited super buff now, which is crazy because you
Yep.
can just keep knocking down enemies and keep going.
Pretty sweet. It is,
Yeah, the super energy you get back is more than what you spend on the actual shoulder charge. So you can actually,
Crazy.
if you have enough enemies flowing through, it's just infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Have y'all tried
games.
that out in PvP yet? I've seen a lot of people running it and saying
Yeah.
it feels good. It's just hard for me to let go. The code of the missile. I just love flying around.
Dolphin
Yeah,
dive.
it's really fun.
Yeah. I can't let it go.
I was
I
trying
saw
to
them
burn them all too much. I like throwing the hammer because I
Yeah.
need to test it. You can double body shot with the last word and throw a hammer, which is amazing if you're trying to be like a sniper titan.
Oh
That's helpful for dealing with people pressuring you in case you like are running low on last word shots or something. Plus, if you hit them with a hammer, you can heal yourself, which is huge too. But I need to find out if you can one tap to the head with last word and hammer kill or not. That would be actually really huge.
That'd be gross. Yeah.
I've been doing that way too much. I haven't tried out the other the trample tree for Titan yet.
It's a lot to try out right now.
Do you think that
Really
that
is.
just made me think of something? Do you guys think that some of the synergy between, you know, guns, classes, buffs, all that kind of stuff, like Chad was saying, like the 2-tap with the last word and the hammer, like that kind of stuff. Do you think that's underrated in D2? Like I feel like we talk so much about little things like, oh, you can do this and then use this, but it's never looked at as a whole, like how good some of that stuff can be in D2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so many little
Yeah.
combinations of things you can do with perks and weapons and subclasses that all get
That can
mentioned
be-
individually, but we've never looked at it and said, man, look at how many different things there are. Do you know? I don't
Oh,
know.
that's something actually that's keeping me super. Like I said earlier, that it was the first time in a while that I just couldn't put Destiny down the night I got the last word and Yoton, and I was trying it all out and just all the different weapon combinations and all the new super stuff and just different. I was like, wait, will inertia override? Like, let me one tap people with the Law Monarch, bow. Like,
Lay
if I have
Monarch,
that
Lego.
rolling.
Lay
Whatever.
Monarch.
And
Take it easy.
it didn't
Lemon,
work,
the lemon,
but-
the lemon arc. Is it a lemon arc?
Take a step
Lemonade.
back, Hove.
Let him sound
Lemon
fancy, okay? Gosh.
The lemon and the lemonade bow.
Lemonade bow.
Lemonade bow. Right there. That's it now.
But it was just so fun running around trying different perk combination stuff. And I think that is the joy of where the Crucible is at right now. Even though there's more that could be done or less that could be nerfed or whatever, like I feel like this is the most exciting state overall the Crucible has been in, to where I'm just itching for Trials to come back, because I'm like, oh, this is such a good state right now. There's so many different viable options. It would be so interesting to see a survival type game type, or just to see what people would do in the different play styles they would come up with. I don't know, it's really fun to me right now.
Well-
And I'm excited because every night I'm like not putting it down. Like I'm like, oh, now I finished playing with this team, let me go try Rumble just for a few games and just try this out, and then I get sucked into that, and I'm just constantly
Not even
messing
just
around.
PvP though, but like I don't watch that much. I haven't really done much on Twitch, in a while. I just haven't. I've kind of moved away from watching. Just haven't had time. But the few times, like especially if you watch some of the like world's first runs, or not the world's first, like the speed runs for raids and everything, you'll see like 7 buffs at a time on the screen. Like I don't
Yep.
ever remember seeing that many things in D1, like together.
No, there was Weapons of Light and Melting Point.
Pretty much.
I think
Shadow
solar
shot.
grenades from Warlocks got a little something eventually that did damage bonus while the grenade was. I could be wrong about that, but we pretty much only had two options, and well, Shadow Shot, like you were saying, but
Now there's just so many. They're not even all damage, but it's just all kinds of speed, damage. You know,
it's like a mad
Well,
chemistry lab of buffs
figuring
and
out-
shit
yeah,
going
absolutely.
off, dude. Just shit exploding and energy everywhere. It's amazing.
Well, that's what I.
way too
I'd
much
be
thinking.
curious to
for
hear
me.
from Chad about is like on your speed runs. Are there certain things that you're like, oh, this is incredible when this happens, and is it like hard to choose between different like perk loadouts or even class loadouts to run because of all the buffs you can get from certain things?
Yeah, actually, basically what everybody does is you can come up with the cool ideas and try to see if you can make it work, but when it comes down to it, it's just whatever the best numbers are. It's all
Yeah.
numbers games for optimizations. Like you can get a trench barrel buff alongside being on or on the well of radiance or something at the time, while they're tractor cannon, and then you did like the empowering melee on the radiance tree for warlock as well, so you have all these different buffs that apply all at the same time. So it really just comes down, and then you like have a titan that has like weapons of light at the same time or something. Like it just comes down to figuring out how we could orchestrate whatever creates the biggest numbers is really what it is. And then once you figure out what could create the biggest numbers and figure out how to orchestrate it, is it actually viable? Can we actually pull it off in like a live environment we're actually just going through? Can we like figure out the ammo economy correctly? And how fast can we like, is that worth the time lost that we would save by moving faster? Like for Scourge of the Past, warlocks can grab the orbs they have to take to places, and you can do the orb skating. We just jump and melee with the orb and then jump again, and just basically the same as how sword skating works. So that time save is so huge. They can go across the map so fast with warlocks. Is that time save worth more time? Like, are you saving more time using warlocks there than you would save if you all like had like a hunter here using shadowing strike or a titan here using a melting point or something? Like you have to figure out
Right.
how to make it all work. And if it, so it's, that's the excitement, is how you figure out what would be the best time save options as well as the best number values, and figure out how to make it all work together accurately, and then figuring out what would be the actual best option. So it definitely is exciting coming with ideas. We had one idea for Scourge of the Past that actually ended up not working. It was so cool because we go into after the like sparrow counter, right, and go up the pipes or whatever in the caves and get to the actual boss environment. You rally the flag, and then you have to like shoot the servitor to start the encounter, right? That you have to go and get the tank summoned and everything. We had an idea where we use Worldline 0 to launch ourselves and then jump on the launch, that we could take the momentum forward, jump above the like boss thing in the center to be able to get an angle on the servitor and use a chaos reach on it, because one chaos reach kills the servitor.
Oh
So
my
it
gosh.
felt so cool that we just launched forward and jump, and they do this like anime like out of it chaos reach to start, and we were like figuring out all these other methods, and I'm just like, but what if this is the best option? And we tried our hardest to make it work, but then we realized that what was actually fastest is that you literally just jump straight up and shoot it once with your hand cannon from long distance. You do like 5 damage, but just doing damage starts the encounter and starts teleporting your teammates, because we realized there would actually be a time save to have your teammates teleport and rally the flags of the F supers, because if we kill a servitor too fast, they won't be able to rally the flag. So it was a bummer, but it's cool ideas like that.
That
we
is very
tried to
cool.
make work, but sometimes you gotta do the really basic stuff instead for time saving.
That's like my
Whatever
favorite
optimizes.
stuff though, is the super unique, like really cool looking idea, especially for me, like PvP stuff, like you're talking about the last word, 2 body shot and throwing a hammer, like that unique, like no one else really does this thing, but it's really cool when it works out. Maybe it wouldn't work all the time, but when it does, you feel awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Dude,
I
I'll
love
tell you,
stuff
the
like that.
best way I've seen a guardian slain by another guardian was I was on the Pyramidian strike at the very beginning, and the door opened up, and I hopped on my sparrow and raced off the edge, and my sparrow landed right on top of this blueberry, like perfectly, man, and it flung him into the wall so hard. Like, I've never, if you'd have blinked, like I'd have been like, what the fuck just happened? And this guy knew it too, man, because I hopped right off my sparrow and got him back up. And I don't know, between like some sort of pantomiming with emotes or something, I had a feeling that this dude knew exactly what the hell happened to him. And Went flying through that Pyramidion, man, and it just landed on him just perfectly. I couldn't do it again for $1 million.
Now, was he pissed? Or
No,
like,
he seemed like it
Okay.
was more like, oh shit, that just happened, sort of thing. Like it was hilarious, man. I try to do it all the time now. Just never happen again. The guy can dream, right? Like it's like
Sounds like that you wish you were streaming, so you just clip it real quick.
Yeah, did you
I
clip
hate
it?
that.
I don't think I
Hey,
did.
keep dreaming.
I
Like you said, a man can dream. Sometimes those come true. I mean, look, Mana showed up.
Jesus, you are laying it
Dreams
on
do come
thick.
How hard did you dream? Like,
You know.
Dreaming hard.
That's an important question.
Oh man. Well, we did get a TWAB this week at Bungie. There's like a little bit of information. Mainly, the main thing is, well, I guess there's two things. Something that happened this week that they kind of mentioned was the Whisper being out like all the time now. I think that was here that it was mentioned, which is awesome.
Do you think that's an early small product of Bungie being on their own?
What do you mean? Like, what would be the
Like
reason?
Activision isn't in the background going meh, pulling strings. Is that what you're saying?
Like that Bungie was able to make that decision now on their own? Do you think that could have been one of the things?
I mean, maybe, but I don't see the purpose of like Activision holding it back for 1 day a week or whatever.
Maybe it was just that the way that I think Hope's more saying that maybe that's the way it was supposed to be implemented, and since like they kind of cut ties, they're like, well, fuck it, we're just gonna
Maybe.
for it. I don't know. It's cool. I think it was a good
possible.
idea.
It just seems like a really like random time to do it. Like it's not like Whisper has some new use right now, or like it's just
Well, to me, it's just like making stuff like a sort of novelty thing at first, where everybody, well, not even novelty.
But why
it's, like,
right
good.
now? For how long Whisper's been out? Why right now?
That is kind of random.
It's the
I don't
first
know.
patch, like update after that spoil. I don't know. It just it doesn't even mean anything. Like it's not a big deal, but it's just one of
feel
those
you.
things you're kind of like, huh? I wonder.
Unless there's
be.
some secret thing in there that we haven't
Yeah.
found yet, that they're giving hints like, hey, there's something in here, you need to go for it.
How did they give the hint?
I don't know, just making it
Hey,
available.
hey, there's something in
Hey
there.
you, hey you,
Hey,
Both
you.
could be right.
seductive
I mean,
voice. Hey.
in my casual clothing.
Guardian.
Hey you.
I think they've kind of caught up some content sometimes. I mean, not necessarily in the same way that like the power programs, if you were like below 600 to like get you to a certain
Right.
place, but it's been out for a while, and so I think it's at a point where maybe they can just kind of push content forward a little bit to catch some people up. But to Ho's point, maybe they're able to do it more quickly, or kind of don't have to go through anybody to do something like that. So I mean, I think it could be both.
Yeah, Chad, one thing you said earlier was like hoping for like faster content releases, and that's one thing, active thing that I really think could be a possibility is like, anytime there's like a middleman, even if Activision didn't say have any limitation over the yes or no of certain patches going out, if they just
They did.
Bungie even had to send it to them, even if they always approved it to go, to the PlayStation Network, Xbox, whatever it went to next to get approved, even if they had to go through Activision to do that, and this is one less step, that's still faster patching ability potentially. I don't know if that's the way it works.
I think
don't
if
think it
anything,
works
it
that
would
way?
slow it down because
What?
Activision was pushing. You need to have these releases. If they were, if Activision felt the need to contract them to
I'm
get
not
certain,
talking releases. I'm talking patches, like weapon patches and stuff. I'm not talking releases because I would
Maybe.
agree with you
And
there.
they go show Dad the report card every time before it got pushed out. Pretty much.
Exactly.
Like,
You never know. There's so much is behind the scenes. You have no idea.
Yeah,
But
you have
there's-
no-
I wrote an article recently about what the Bungie's independence could mean, because a lot of people instantly were jumping to rejoicing that, oh, it's going to be a holy future for Bungie. Everything's going to be so much better now. But it could be, or it could be the opposite, that maybe
Yeah.
Activision was pushing them to release things faster, and Bungie's actually really slow on the process. Who knows? I was reading over their contract, which could have changed over the years. All we had access to was the initial contract that had to be made public because of a court case and stuff. But
yeah.
in that contract, it does say that Activision had the final say for any significant change to Bungie, to Destiny franchise product. So yeah, they had to go and do an approval process. I feel like the approval process wouldn't take 3 months to do, honestly. Because of that, I don't think it's going to be that much better miraculously. But maybe this could be like a shift Maybe it could be like a new beginning feel for the entire studio. So now Bungie will start doing things faster, hopefully. But I don't know.
The way I was thinking about it is like, you know, if you're working on, like, you're an artist or whatever, you're working on a project and you send it off to somebody, be like, hey, look at this, you know, check it out, is this good to go? But you
like when I send
continue
you my
working on
nudes.
and so you keep working on the project, like, even though you send it off for approval, like, Destiny is an ever-growing thing, so they're still working on the next big thing. It's not like they send it off and wait. And so maybe by the time they get an Activision approval, even if it's like a week or whatever, you know, I have no idea, I'm totally guessing at all of this, then maybe they're a week ahead and they're like, oh, well, there's this new thing, and so they wait on holding the patch, even though they got approval for the last version. It's like, well, we got this other thing and it'd be easier to just do it all at once. So there's no telling, really. But that is interesting that it was contractual, that they had to get Activision approval before doing stuff like that.
I think the most telling thing, though, I think we probably mentioned this when that news came out, because 99.9% of our reactions to this are speculative, right? Like, we don't really have any idea. But the one telling thing to me is supposedly how happy Bungie as a studio was for it to happen. So, you know, popping champagne and everything. So for them to kind of be
too.
Oh yeah.
But for like for the devs to be like super excited, that if nothing else, that's good. Yeah. Whether that'll play out or not.
For the timing for when Activision got out of the contract, I was reading through the contract. Again, things could have changed over the years. We only have the initial contract that would be publicly accessible, but in that contract, it said that the only time Activision could get out of the contract, with exception to if Bungie just straight up does not provide the content and is just bad quality, doesn't provide at all, which you can say whatever you want about Destiny, but they definitely provided at least a decent quality game with the franchise and product. So you couldn't ever legally justify that being a reason to get out of the contract. It did say that the first time Activision can just straight up leave the contract otherwise would be after providing Comet 2, which was indicated as the first major DLC launch a year after Destiny 2's release. So which would be Forsaken. So Forsaken, based on that contract, was the first time Activision could say, you know, we had our time with this franchise and we want to leave. So, and based on how long legal paperwork works, I've done a few legal cases I've been part of in the past. A lot of things take forever in legal. They probably like released Forsaken, and then about a month after looked at the sales, and then also looked at the past as well, because I think that some comment went out about Activision saying that the sales weren't good enough that they wanted out of Forsaken, even though it was a huge boon for the population, for like Destiny population. It still was that, along with everything else in Destiny franchise. I think they were mentioning that it wasn't enough, that they want to get out of it, not just Forsaken alone. So they probably like a month later looked at those reports and stuff, and then started the process of getting the paperwork. And I'm sure a lot of that processing was in place, like going underway before the announcement came, because you don't want to make an announcement like that and then later down the road realize the paperwork's not going to work out, and then now we're kind of in this limbo that we announced we're separating, but we're still connected for like a year. So they probably waited for a majority of that paperwork to be finalized before they made that announcement of separating, which was like 2 months later.
Yeah, that's interesting. All interesting stuff. Well, the rest of the TWAB is just there's a lot of random stuff in here with the patch notes, but there were two like housekeeping things that they had to let everyone know about. One is clan changes for the next season, season 6. We're in season 5 now. That they're returning Destiny 2 clan system to like the experience model, where no matter what you do, you're leveling up your clan. And they're not going to have daily clan bounties anymore. And instead they'll have like some weekly bounties that are PvE, raid, and PvP focused.
Each week, one of each.
Yes. Yeah. And then but other than that, you can just play activities that you want to help your clan out. Those are just like big extra boons. And then they also talk about like what happens, what you get at each rank. And so at rank 3, you earn mod components when completing a weekly bounty. At 4, you earn enhancement cores, and at 6, your clan will unlock a 4th weekly bounty to get extra stuff from. So that's pretty cool.
Wasn't there one about catalysts, or is that active?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catalyst, extra or better drop rate if you're with a clan member doing an activity.
Yeah.
For
That's pretty
Crucible
cool.
and Strike Catalyst.
Those are tasty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And there was kind of there was an interesting line in there that was like, if you already have them, we plan to release a few more from our year 1 reserve during Season of the Drifter for you to chase. But that is kind of like a vague sentence.
It's like sweet business, I think. Like the ones from the they'll probably bring back the ones from,
Faction Rally stuff.
Faction Rally, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There
I
was
never finished that.
Even being mentioned when Faction Rally is coming back. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
that and
those.
Trials.
Yeah, I would love Trials more so than a Faction Rally, though.
Yes.
Yes,
A good
please.
version of Trials, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, they could just go back to the 3v3 elimination and I'd be satisfied.
I would love
with the
that
Do
so
current
much.
3v3 elimination with the new maps and then just go from there. If we decide if we give some feedback that it should be changed, and I'm sure they'll have some really good ideas to put on top of it and make it engaging. Like, cause I miss it, man. I miss rounding up the homies on Friday nights and
Yeah.
just going in.
Yeah,
like,
that was the last time. I think that was the last time you and I played together. Was when it was 3v3 elimination.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking about? I'm on Destiny all the time, dude. Hop on, bro.
Hop off the.
Oh, here we go. Hop off with these nuts. Never hope.
Hey Lego, do you want to go to
Yeah.
Philly?
If I had
Have you seen the
money,
Odyssey?
Yes.
Oh, really? You gotta see these nuts. Oh, it's good.
We had a
Anyway,
whole.
there was-
we had
there
a.
was-
Me and Wilson had a whole like 5
Do you
or
have
10
any
of
felonies,
those. Yeah, to
Lego?
just do to
Do you have
like.
any felonies? Really? Because I heard you fell on these nuts.
Wow.
I'm done. I promise. All right, I'm done.
Wow.
There was something in the TWAB I wanted to shout out though, and
Okay.
that was the movie of the week winner.
Oh yeah, dude, double feature because Bones and Kinsta both
Yeah.
got featured, which
Nice.
both really awesome players. So that was really cool. See
Yeah,
that.
shout outs to some really cool montages. Really,
Yeah,
liked
they
them.
looked
They're
awesome.
fun. Yep, well done.
Good stuff. I had something to say about
These
Hey.
nuts.
the year 1 catalyst coming back. I still need my Wardcliff catalyst. That's like the one thing that's like, please,
Same.
because it's
That'd be
so
cool, yeah.
helpful in comp whenever you need to shut down a super. But
Lego, I heard that Mana has a present for you.
Man's face.
What? Look at Mana's face.
That look on his, it's like somebody opened up a jar with a fart inside of it. That was Mana's face that he just made.
Why don't you tell Lego what his present is?
what?
He really
happening?
wants me to use this one. His
one was
word.
word?
Mana's been texting me about one of his words. He's like, I don't know how to use that, and I was like, just say it. So I gave him an out.
Well, here, no, we'll have another out because we've got community questions to do, which I know we have a
But
few.
Mana wants to
so-
give you something.
There's some good ones I saw.
Yeah. I think we should jump to those because there's not much else in the. I know there's others, y'all. Like, I know
Just
Hope
use it right
wants us
there.
to be a news podcast, but
He knows if it's Mana's word and Mana doesn't want to say it, that it's gotta be bad. Like,
Yeah.
It's not that
We can
bad.
cover news, but especially since the lack of frequent updates from Bungie, it's kind of hard to be a
Yeah.
news podcast
Yeah.
for Destiny.
Also, it's
specifically.
really funny to me that Lego says I want us to be a news podcast, whereas usually I'm the one talking the most random fucking nonsense. And
I
Lego
didn't say it
has-
was Destiny news. I just said news.
Oh, news in general. Okay.
either no. Anyway,
True.
all right.
Across the 4 shooter RPG games, Warframe, Division 2 coming up, Anthem, Destiny 2, you could probably have enough news
Yeah.
to cover in a weekly.
Mainly, it's just the news in his life, like period.
Okay, talking about hospital visits and stuff. Gotcha.
Hospital
For some
visits,
reason, I
windy
keep
visits.
hearing nudes instead
know.
of news.
So did I.
I
But
mean, he basically
speaking
does that already then. Okay.
speaking of hospital visits, though, ironically, they had to like get me to fill out stuff because they didn't have a record of me since I was listed as child from 1994, because that's the last time I visited a hospital.
Whoa.
And I was like, you don't need to change that. I am a child. All right, so community questions. Matt Grundy asks,
Hey,
if you could wipe your
surprise.
memory and play any game again for the first time, what game would it be?
Ooh.
Oh, this is
That's
a
a good
really good
question.
question.
Well, that's hard, honestly.
Yeah.
I think
Chad,
I have an
do you-
answer.
have you got? Oh, Wilson, you have an answer already?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for Super Nintendo.
I thought about that one. Yeah.
Hands down. I would love to, like, now because I have to do randomizers to, like, make the feeling new again, like the first time I'm playing the game. But even though there's, like, built-in logic, like, you kind of know after playing so many randomizers that, like, you kind of get the feel for it. But yeah, I would love to go back and know nothing about that game and play it again. It'd be amazing. Somebody else said Zelda, but the NES one in chat. Gordon.
I wrote down 6 names. Of
You only get
games,
one.
and I know. I only get one.
So it's
I'm
the
gonna go
Nintendo
with-
Play Choice 10 argument from Florida all over again. When you could have one arcade cabinet, and I said Nintendo Play Choice 10 because it has 10 games on it. And you're like, fuck
Right.
that. No, you're
I don't remember this conversation at all.
okay. All right.
I really
How
don't.
much alcohol was involved?
Probably Wilson was actually the one who was fucked up all the
I
time.
was
the driver.
I was like
Maybe
weekend
this
at
didn't
Bernie's, man.
happen.
I was like,
I mean,
Yeah, Wilson drank a lot and smoked a lot of weed, and you guys don't believe me.
what's more likely, that Hove doesn't remember or that it never happened?
That it never happened.
ooh, it happened, Lego. Anyway, sorry.
So
to derail.
okay,
Never
so
happened, he
mine
Can't remember what
My-
was that.
mine is gonna be PT, the playable
Physical
trailer
therapy?
that came out for Silent Hill. That was
Oh, that
incredible.
spooky thing. That
Oh,
That
hallway
Guillermo
and
del
all that?
Toro made with yeah.
Which apparently
everyone.
that's being like remade by like the community, all that. So it's like a longer
Yeah.
version.
Yeah,
Oh,
Is that the one where
Hideo
you have to
Kojima?
keep repeating scenes and there's like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing different
You keep
about it?
repeating
Okay, I
the
did
hallway. It's like a horror movie about like
Yeah,
all in one
yeah.
hallway, and then at the end, if you make it through, like it's revealed like, oh, this is a new Silent Hill coming out. And I remember when I played it, I immediately was like, wait, what is this? I need to download this right away. And I was playing through it, I was so creeped out. And at the very end, I was like, what is Silent Hill? What the heck?
And
so
then
I
it
got
never
super-
happened.
It is pretty
And then,
creepy.
yeah, right.
It never happened.
Bummer,
It was the most
dude.
depressing thing ever, but it was really exciting at the time. Runners up, though. I got runners up because I got
Moving
to.
on.
We have six. You have six
Uncharted
games.
4 was incredible the first time. The Last of Us was incredible the first time. Silent Hill 2 was incredible the first time. And an iPhone game called Year Walk. That
Do
was.
you still have PT on your PS3?
I do. I am never deleting it ever.
If you need money, you should sell that because if it has PT on it, it's worth a lot of money. Last time
Really?
I checked. Yes. Just saying. I don't know how attached you are to it, but you know what I'm saying. More money. More money.
Look at his face. He's like,
Now you got me questioning, like, do I have it
It's like
on this
shit,
one?
sell it.
Just
He's like,
see if you
about
have
to
it. and
check it out real quick.
It's
I
been a
have
How
while.
much money is it though?
What I'm
last time I
questioning is,
checked,
like,
Price point.
this,
I got
this
a
was a while,
PS4
dude. But
Pro.
last time I checked, they were easily going for like $800-900 if it was a working
Wow.
system with that on there, because you can't get it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Only
it's-
you can't get it anymore. Like you would have had to have kept that PT. That
I'd sell that in a heartbeat. I hate horror
I would,
games,
dude.
so.
Fuck, especially
Yeah,
when
so
it's-
that's
I
like
got the
real money.
Panini
Same.
Onion
We're
bucks.
closer to $1,000, dude. I'll never play that game.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
I
know.
finished Resident Evil 7. I really don't.
No way.
Well, that was Kojima, right? And then we got
Yeah,
what was it?
Kojima.
Death Stranded. Now we got Norman
Yeah.
Reedus out of
Which
it.
I'm
That was
excited
dope.
for that, too.
And Mads
Yeah.
Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I just watched him
Backpack.
in a movie on
That's
Netflix.
because
Netflix
he's
original
that's
that
because
just
he's
came
an
out.
actor.
He's an
Poland.
actor.
No, it's a brand new.
Horror movies.
Brand new. You guys are mean, man.
Doctor Strange.
No, it's Polar. Polar. It just came out. It's based
He's
off
in-
of a comic.
Yeah, he's in 2 movies coming out right now that are like very similar.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah.
So it's a good thing I make the
So-
rules because I have 3
Oh, wow.
answers.
Oh, wow.
You just yelled at Lego.
Yeah.
At
I
least
know,
list
what the
2
heck?
as honorable mentions.
Well, one's kind of a tie.
Yeah, pick one as like the top at least.
No.
Damn.
Well, here
Sassy
it's
little
because
bastard.
it's
Playing
it's
games with Hove.
Right?
Rules don't matter for him.
Nope. They're meant
it's
to be
because
broken.
no. Listen, it's because I think they're for different reasons. One just old school because it was like a game that I really actually I have 4. Super Mario Brothers 3.
You hear 5.
Yeah, that's a good one.
5 yet?
Because that was just an old school game when I was young. Is Lego frozen or just not moving?
No, I'm not moving. I'm looking.
You
at
were
PT
very- you were
prices.
Yeah,
Very
you were
still.
actually very frozen.
Super Mario
He's that
3,
into it.
Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. And then the tie is 2 recent ones. and it would be The Last of Us and God of War. But those ones are so recent to me. I don't know how much of that is just because it's fresh in my mind. But it's because the story is what really I fell in love with both of those games. I'd like to be able to go through those
man,
and
Last
see
of
them
Us.
both. So
Yeah.
also,
Good
I am
answer.
the Twitter
Who's
boss, so
going
I do
next?
make the rules.
See, I feel like I like The Last of Us as well, but I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking or at the same time because they were both so story emotionally driven, and there was and The Last of Us is kind of like almost unrelatable in a lot of ways, whereas Uncharted 4, not saying that is relatable either.
You're right. It's
but,
almost unrelatable, except for the zombies.
yeah, well, no, but Uncharted 4, it has these moments between Nate and his girl, and then there's also moments at the end that are very family centric, and I felt all of those emotions they really punch you in the gut, and I was like, man, this is so good. This is like a really good movie, so
I still think it stood up. Well, I can't really say the test of time because it's only a couple years old, but I still think they nailed the ending of Uncharted 4 to wrap up that whole series.
100%.
I thought that was
incredible.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, Echo the Dolphin.
I still never beat one of those games, dude.
How do you even get past level
Yes, it
2?
was.
Dude, I get lost every
That shark
time.
came in, you're dead.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that shark.
Nerf the shark, please.
Nerf that shark for sure. I could not. I watched a speedrun of that game, and the shark basically didn't exist for him. It was crazy.
Huh.
That RNG manipulation. You know what I mean?
You just juked it.
He knows how to.
I feel like I need to watch a video of that now.
Yeah, that
honestly,
was hours of my childhood that just left through frustration, and I quit.
along
right.
with
Yeah, it's just
90% of all Sega games that I've ever played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite
Like
thing
the-
about games done quick is seeing games that you could never beat just absolutely destroyed in record
Yeah.
timing.
That makes
you know
me
what I mean?
sad.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. I want to watch it, but then I'm depressed afterwards. I'm because I'll never do that. I'll never complete the game.
I thought it was
Yeah.
cool because I never seen what was past that first level. So
Yeah.
this was awesome.
That's a good
Game
point. I might have to check that out.
neat. Yeah, I've never seen
Yeah.
this before. For me, with the game I'd play again would be probably God of War. Hope mentioned it, but that'd be my number one. For all of my life, I've always been more of a guy who just plays online games. I played co-op games with my brother all the time, but it was mostly just PvP co-op stuff. It wasn't really like a adventure story or anything. And then I went to Call of Duty, Halo, stuff like that, Battlefield. So I never really got into story-based kind of this is my one experience progressing through kind of a thing. I played through the Uncharted series, but I also have this thing where if I'm playing a game that's old, then I feel like I'm just kind of playing catch up. And I just have this thing in the back of my head that's just man, everybody else already experienced this. So I can't be guys, did you hear about the ending of this game? It's so sick, right? Everyone's yeah, I did play it a decade ago, man. Where have you been? So I never feel that as in the moment, hype around friends that are also playing it. But I got to experience that with God of War, which was really cool. And that game was just fantastic. The combat system was really fun. Visually, it was really good. The lore development was really fun. So that was really good. Also, another one though would be Castle Crashers, which is a
Castle Crashers.
I like that
Okay,
game.
yeah.
fun.
All right.
It's fun for repeats because friends of mine we grinded all the characters out, which was fun. We got all the unlockables, but that first playthrough, I was this is a fun game, and it was just jokes throughout. It was neat. It was lighthearted.
That's cool.
I liked it.
So I got a couple too. So I want to hit multiplayer and single player stuff. But my all time, if I can go back and kind of what was it, just erase all memory and just kind of redo it everything again.
Play through it for the first time again. Yeah.
Just whenever I first got Xbox Live and got Halo 3, that's where I first started becoming really good at just multiplayer, first person shooter. That's what started the whole first person shooter stuff. Was if I can go back through, redo everything I've ever done in Halo 3, hours and hours of custom game. Met my roommate right now, all the way back in 2007, 2008 or whatever. What was that? 8 years? 8 years. 8 years ago, yeah. And now I'm living with him. I don't know how that happened.
Did you just say
But,
2007 was 8 years ago?
I don't know, man. He
Just
said
checking.
8. I thought it was 2007. No, the game came out in 2007, didn't it?
2011.
No, but he said 8, but the game came out in 2007, I think it was.
No, you're right. It
It was 9 years.
Okay, so. But anyways, yeah, just Halo
that game
3
started my online.
I lived in custom games. Like it was crazy, and like back then, before I even knew what being a Sherpa was, back then you can just join. Everyone would just join like friends and go into a new lobby every single time. So you meet more and more people. And I used to just take random people through Legendary, like all the time, just random people. I like people I don't remember their names. They're not on my friends list. It's just people that just join up on friends. It's like, hey, you want to go through Legendary? Yeah, I never beat it. Let's go. I used to show them the Easter eggs, get all the skulls for them too. And I used to do that all the freaking time. And it was just like, it was so memorable too. Because not only did, I learn how to become better at first person shooters, but I also met some of my best friends now and all that. So it was just a crazy experience. Not to mention like that game had full on custom game. It had Forge mode where you can build your own stuff. It had the full blown campaign, which was 4-player co-op. It just had all this stuff. Theater mode. It just had all this crammed into it. It was one of the best just gaming experiences, like probably of my life. But for like single player, like going back further, I don't actually know what Legend of Zelda to pick, because every single one of them when I was younger was just so memorable. I think maybe it was, I know it's kind of like everyone always says this game, but Ocarina of Time. It was it was the first game that I've ever gone for N64, and it just blew my mind. I went from Sega Saturn straight to N64, and I was just it blew my mind. That Mario 64 and Star Wars Rogue Squadron were my first 3 games for N64, and they were some of the most memorable. All 3 of those were some of the most memorable games I've ever played.
I've never played. I mean, I don't mean just like sit down in someone's house and fuck around for a minute, but like start to finish, I've never played a Zelda game.
Same.
Dude, we need to hook you up, Hove.
Chad, we need you back here more often. I like you.
But it's like what I just said. Like everybody's played it already. I don't want.
Also, one more. Metroid Prime for the GameCube.
Oh yeah, I've never beaten that yet.
Oh,
I got to like the plant boss,
I'm planning
slightly past it, and that's all I've gotten because I was a kid and I couldn't figure it out.
I'm planning eventually with my roommate to actually stream it again at some point when we get things working properly.
I still own it. I should play it too,
dude. Should. It's just like the soundtrack is just so good too.
I remember it was amazing. I just couldn't figure out how to beat it. I was too young.
It was rough. Yeah, it was honestly rough. A lot of the times it was scary too. A lot of those games, like going back at it now, it's just like it's a little creepy. But back when I was younger, I was just like, I can't do this. I need a friend, to be here with me.
Y'all just reminded me, like just throwing out all these titles. The very first time ever that I played Call of Duty, like the original Call of Duty, and they have the campaign rush the beach, like from the boats, like up the hill, and everyone's shooting at you. Dude, that was so intense the first time. That was amazing.
I'm gonna
Call
add.
of Duty 2 is what got me into PC gaming. I built a PC so I could play Call of Duty 2 because my brother did that same thing, and I played on his PC. I was like, oh my god, this is an amazing game. I love FPS arenas. This is fantastic. So I went and built a PC so I could do that, and that was like my first like super try hard FPS experience on PC.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna add one more quickly, not because it was like an amazing game, but just it had so much ridiculous shit in it that every time something happened, you were like, what the fuck? Do you remember Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, for Super Nintendo. I think there was a Sega version.
It was Genesis and Super Nintendo, yeah.
The Super Nintendo is more
and like you saw like the guns, there was like squirt guns and fire extinguishers and weird shit. And then like there was a level that it was like level 55. It was a giant like 30-foot tall baby in a diaper. Like
yes, I do
weirdest,
remember that. The bosses were ridiculous.
Yeah, it was the weirdest shit ever. And every time you got to a new level, you were like, "What is happening now?"
That was like Earthbound. It was an RPG, but instead of like knights and wizards and spells, you were like some kids from like America in the 90s, baseball bats and frying pans and yo-yos and shit, and like psychic powers and things. That's another one that would be on my list. But Triton, have you?
Yeah, Triton.
Yeah, going hard. I had so much time to think about like several games. Like the first one that came to mind was probably Final Fantasy VII because it was like the first RPG I played.
Yeah. I didn't play Final Fantasies either.
So me neither. I
never got to complete any of them.
I played 15.
That would probably be the main one. I think also too, like
Good
a lot of
answer.
guys you mentioned, like the experience around them, I think changes it too. So even though like maybe the content isn't as much, like trying to relive the story, I think for Final Fantasy VII that would be it. But there was a PlayStation 2 game called Time Splitters that you could make your own maps. It was FPS, and you could make your own maps. And we played. It was like my senior year of high school, and we probably made 1,000 maps. It seemed like everyone had it, so we would all make a map, and then you go to someone's house after like track practice, and you'd all play on their map, and we'd have like tournaments. It was like when you could do like the link system, so you really had to be like dedicated on like a 27-inch TV to do this. So it was.
Was it Future Perfect or
I
something
would-
like that? Was the
Yeah, there was a lot of different missions like that. You could like unlock different characters. They weren't like really super unique, but there was like so many different unlocks there. So I'd say that would probably be another one. And maybe like Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, like the actual arcade game though. So I don't know if that counts, but like Hove would know. So like they used to have one by the old mill in the Racers in Kennywood, and like the actual arcade machine. And I probably would spend like $20-$25 on that trying to get to like the last level there. So I mean, good times there. I mean, some of those are experiential, but I think story-wise, Final Fantasy VII. But there's just so many memories surrounding a lot of games that if I could like wipe it and relive those, I would definitely have a lot of those.
We need to have an
Seven was so
episode
good.
where we just talk about old games, because I just thought
Nostalgia
of like 15
episode.
more.
honestly,
like, sitting here, like it's like going last. I thought probably like at least 10. I only had Final Fantasy VII, but by the end I was like, probably should.
And
have
I don't
picked
even
3 of
necessarily
these
mean
12 or
games that I would have put into this category, just old games. Like, remember Primal
Yeah.
Rage?
Primal Rage was
Rage,
awesome.
the dinosaur fighting game.
Clay Fighters?
Yeah, 63 1/3, motherfucker. I know.
Add to how long it's already going, but I just wanted like shotgun names like Mech Assault, and then like
Yeah.
Fantasy Star Online 1 and 2, and like
Phantasy
Ultimate
Star
Club 2.
Online.
Oh my god! I
One
put so
of-
much time in those 3 games. Were like my big starts to Xbox Live experience.
Dude, Fantasy Star Online. All me and my buddies just played the demo, and there's so much stuff in the free demo.
It was so good.
One of my favorite
man.
series, last one I swear, maybe, probably not. Do you remember all the the Strike series? Urban Strike, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about those.
I was
Strike hard,
so
strike
bad at
fast.
them, but I had all kinds
Same.
of missiles, and I just shot missiles and shit. Yeah, it was awesome.
I
You had to
didn't
like
even mind
you had to, like,
restarting
pick
the mission
people
over
up.
and over again.
and like
Mhm,
get them away.
mhm.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
miss the old arcade experience, man, of going into the arcade and like new release, like new patches for fighting games would come out, and there was a game at my local arcade that I don't even remember what the hell the name of the game was, but it was very cryptic. The things that you had to do to advance from one room to the next. It would be like run around counterclockwise, pick up item XYZ, deposit them in A, B, and C, and then proceed to the next room. It got to the point to where people just left a notebook on the arcade cabinet.
that shit
Hey,
would be
this is how you beat
stolen
level-
nowadays.
Yeah, well, this is how you beat level 1, and then they'd put the notebook back up there, and then someone come through and be like,
nice.
oh,
That's
and then
actually
they'd
really
beat level 2,
cool.
and it was this
That's
vicious.
really
Yeah, everyone like
Vicious cycle.
it was almost like a secret community helping each other.
Yeah.
Like,
So it was
You'll
like an-
never,
It was it's like
ever
an
see anything like
offline
that again.
version of Reddit.
offline forum or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
You will never experience anything like that ever again, like just because of the internet. Like collectively, me and my hometown beat this arcade game.
That's sick.
Awesome.
It was really cool. I miss that feeling.
All right.
Something to do with my quarters.
This is
Goddamn.
a good
Yeah.
time to finally move on.
We're gonna
because
have
we
this-
can probably keep on
Oh
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
restraining myself right now from talking about
Good.
going
I'm proud of you.
going to the beach down the boardwalk and hitting all the different arcades on the way. I'm not gonna go
Oh,
there.
jealous.
Adam asks, with the drastic difference in PC versus console recoil, how do you feel about the skill gap required for use on console as opposed to ease of use on PC? And I think that's directed towards the last word specifically.
Yeah. Shout
That's
out
a good
to
one for
Yang
Chad
the
to
question.
answer since he plays both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately couldn't get last word experience personally on console. Today I couldn't get it done in time, but it definitely, based on what I've seen of other people, the ADS recoil is ridiculous, which is a
bad.
problem on console. I never knew it might have been a problem in Destiny 1. I just never knew. It was just all I knew of. So I got used to it. But on PC, the FOV increase brings you back on zoom as well. So when you shoot a hand cannon that's not a 180, you see the hand cannon go up, but you don't really feel recoil. You just see the hand cannon go up, and that's it. You still have a reticle that's in the same spot. On console with the less FOV, your camera is like mounted on the barrel of the gun or something. So when you shoot, your whole screen goes up with the gun, it feels.
Yeah.
And it's really jarring. It's really hard to control hand cannons are not 180s. So with Last Word, it looks like it has the same problem when you ADS, even though it is a 180, because it shoots faster, it still like goes all over the place. So that's what I've seen with a lot of people posting clips and stuff like that. And it definitely, I feel a lot less threat on console against Last Words than on PC. On PC, show up, this guy's the last word, you're probably gonna die unless you last word them in the face, or you're out of range or something, like, or if you have a shotgun range. But Last Word is deadly on PC, especially hip fire. It's so accurate. It's almost hit scan. It does bloom a little bit, which is honestly okay, because otherwise that would be the only gun you'd ever use. It would be honestly insane if it was that consistent. And most of the time that didn't do damage, it really was just me missing. So I realized how bad I'm at shooting stuff when I'm hip firing whenever I play the past 2 days. But definitely is that you feel a bigger threat on PC against Last Word than you do on console from what I played today. For sure.
All right. And last question we got on Twitter is another Matt Grundy special. With the Season of the Forge all but over, how are you all liking the new Season Pass style content? Better than the DLC style?
Oh boy.
I don't know. I like having a big thing so you can really just go for it and grind it out. I like that we can have consistent content with stuff like the seasons, but I feel myself getting kind of like, I don't want to go do another Forge. Like, I need to go unlock this and I'll get Sniper, but I know I'm probably not going to use it because it's the same slot as the Last Word, and that's like the only way I'm going to possibly use a Sniper is if I have a Last Word with me now. So I probably won't ever use it as an Nagi Sniper, and it requires going and doing Forge content, which I'm just kind of burnt out on already.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's cool, but it's not as cool as the major content like Forsaken was, like providing entire new places to explore and doing these entirely new raids and stuff. Like, they brought their Scourge and stuff. I don't know. I like having progressive content, but every once in a while having a big jump is pretty nice for sure.
Separating the drop style from the actual content, I want to say that I will in the long run prefer this kind of thing, but I'm right with you, Chad, that like every time was kind of the same thing with some tweaks. Like, it was another Forge every time. So that's why I say like separating the actual content versus the style, because if it was like every couple weeks like that, but it was different stuff, that would be awesome, right? But it was like Forge, and that was cool to keep getting new stuff. I get it, and like we got new weapons, but yeah, as far as the playability of it, it really was just like you got a new activity and then some new weapons every week, you know, because the Forges are all kind of the same thing. So the style itself, I would like to say I prefer this, but they have to get it right.
I was going to tag onto that and say like almost the same thing, like, because for me, it was all very PvE based new stuff consistently, and as a PvP player, it kind of just felt like we didn't get anything. Whereas with the big patch, you kind of get a little bit of both, or, you know, a lot of both depending. And so whenever you just get these Forges, and if the Forges aren't your thing, then you're kind of just screwed because that's all you're getting week after week. And you're like, well, this isn't like I'm going and doing it just the minimal hours I need to potentially get a new gun, and that's it, because I didn't really enjoy it as much. But I think that's what you were saying, Hove. If they released it in this style but a little more variety or something, then I would probably enjoy that. So
I would like as long as there can be like frequent sandbox changes to PvE and PvP, I'd like the old DLC style better, as long as we could get sandbox updates in between, maybe some sprinklings of some little events and things like that here and there, which would be really cool. The Forge was awesome. I just, you know, like you guys were all saying, it's like, damn, like 4 of them, really? I thought, like, you know, I think there's just a misconception. I think that the way that they're doing things on paper sounds amazing, but like Hove said, you just got to implement it right and get
That's
it right.
what I mean. I think the style could be better. They just haven't nailed it yet.
Yep.
And another thing too is like when it's a big content drop, you can just go and just grind it out and get it done. And then if there's a lot of frequent sandbox updates, then awesome, like Lego said, and you can feel kind of like a fresh environment, both PvE and PvP, things being altered and changed around, different metas. Like going with a Killer Shotgun, Midnight Coup, Whisper for however long was kind of boring. I would love to be able to mix it up more often. Same for PvP then, of course. But also, if you don't want to only play Destiny 2, then when there's a big content drop, Destiny 2 time, we're grinding it out. And if you want to play other games, then you have a gap of time that you can go and play other games.
Yeah.
And then come back. So yeah, obviously Bungie wouldn't want to make a model that would encourage people playing other games, but I think that in longevity is like I think a lot of us are kind of resounding around that kind of has a feeling of burnt out and we're kind of like over it with the forges and feeling like we have to keep playing to catch up kind of has a negative effect where it's kind of making me want to go and play other games more than keeping back with Destiny 2 because it feels like they're trying to like snag me and keep me in when I kind of want to like experience other stuff while also staying loyal to Destiny 2 because I love the game and the franchise.
Yeah. It's kind of almost where I was, where like there's so many other games, so many new things, and it's like, but I was so far behind in Destiny, and I just kind of like, I don't want to do anymore, especially like PvE. I get to the points where like there's so much PvE that I just want to stop because I'm more PvP, but I don't know. I just kind of like overloaded myself, and like mindset was just like, I gotta do all this crap to catch up, but I don't want to do all this crap to catch up. But we've been asking for all this crap to catch up, but now I'm done. I just don't want to catch up. And yeah, I'm still extremely behind. Like I don't have a lot of say in this, particularly just because I haven't done 90% still of the crap that has came out since September 4th. So it's
choose whether, but you mean you've already kind of said it, you know what I mean? Like you don't like,
yeah, it's like that's all I
can
say.
Down,
like,
you know what I mean? Like you have to do this, and you got to show up to class every week, you son of a bitch, and get your PvE activities done. You know what I mean? Like I gotta understand how to feel off put, you know, and almost like, damn, I don't want to feel like I'm a slave to this game every week and go play something else.
Like,
I could totally
but the other part of me was like, I wanna also do that stuff at the same time, and I'm in this weird spot. It's like last week I was actually planning on finally doing the Last Wish raid. I have yet to touch that.
Yeah,
but I forgot what happened. But I think we started playing Crucible or something else, and we just kind of forgot about it.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
Started killing Titans in their bubble on capture zones.
I just don't know what happened.
Part of me wants to have constant content to keep playing in Destiny 2, but also part of me wants to have breaks where I can just comfortably feel okay with leaving so I don't feel like I'm falling behind and go playing other things and then come back. Because feeling like Manny was saying, like if you feel like you're falling behind, that sucks. Like I played catch up when I came back during the Warmind time, and I had a hard time getting myself back into Destiny because I felt like I was so far behind and out of the loop. I was constantly asking people questions about everything, and then I felt like I was being a bother asking for clarification of stuff. There's just so much that I was out of the loop for that I needed to. Otherwise, I felt like I'd be wasting time by not optimizing my grind and stuff. And I hated that feeling, which is weird because I love providing that information for people, but I hate being the person asking for it. But yeah, if you feel like you're out of the loop, it is discouraging to get back into it. And you want to be able to keep playing, but you want to have time to leave while not being out of the loop. So yeah, I'm definitely on the fence on which style I like more.
Shane, what about you, man?
Well, I think, and we've kind of captured this in the last couple go-arounds here in this part of the conversation, but my desire to play the game is in a different place with this, this style during this period as it would have been in the last time that we got DLC. Now, I didn't even play the Warmind when it launched, so probably like Curse of Osiris, I guess. So, I mean, it's hard when I really don't want to play the game a ton right now. And a little bit of that is because of the content. So I don't know if if it was different, maybe that could be different for me, but I don't hardly have a great desire to play Destiny, so I'm not sure that I'm going to give it necessarily a fair shake. But like to Chad's point, I think that he just brought up, falling behind is kind of crappy, and you're at a point where there is some things to do all the time, but it's not really the things that like you want to do. But I think that's part of like settling into, a game that's, came out in 2014 more or less, that I wanted to do everything then. Now I haven't finished Scourge of the Past. I don't know if I will. And since it's not tied to a trophy, I don't think that I care that much. It's just not something I want to do as much now as I would have wanted to do 2 or 3 years ago. So regardless of how the content has come out, I just think I don't want to say my desire to play the game is less, but in truth it is, just because it's been out for so long and there's other things that I want to do and other things that I want to experience. So I'm not sure. I think I'm, mostly on the same point everybody else. If the content was a little bit different, maybe I'd feel differently about it. But it's tough to judge when, that's not the case. And I don't know if I want to play Destiny as much in 2019 January as I wanted to play it in 2018 January.
I don't think anybody wanted to play it in 2018 January.
It's like, it's healthy to like go away and take these breaks though, because if you are constantly tied down to this game and it feels like a burden and it feels like a chore, it's just going to breed negativity and angst and things like that, and people lashing out. Whereas like if I take a break from the game, and I mean there are definitely times that I take upwards of 2-week breaks from Destiny, when I come back, like it feels good. You know what I mean? Like you're like, this is why I play. Like the guns feel great, the flashiness, like how flashy you can play the game, man, when you pull off that play and you take out 3, 4, however many Guardians with you, like it's a really good feeling that I think, in my opinion, for me, I can only get that feeling from this game. But breaks are so healthy, man. Like if it feels like a chore and you have so much angst and anxiety before you turn the game on, just go play another game for a little bit and come back.
For sure.
This
That's
is
for everybody. Every game you play, you need to step away. No game is. I mean, you go into the whole life thing. It's literally anything you do. If you do too much, it can feel like a chore. It's like monotonous, tedious. It definitely applies to gaming as well.
See, and I think this. I was talking to one of you guys about this in the last couple days. I don't remember who it was, but it's kind of a downfall of the way gaming is now with kind of the games as a service. And building games and the internet and everything.
Me and you,
yeah. Like it makes it feel sometimes almost like a job. Like we were saying, Wilson, like feeling like you have to catch up and there's new stuff and everything. Think back to
FOMO, missing out.
Think back to some of the games that we mentioned in Matt's last question about that you wanted to play again. Some of these games we played when we were younger. We didn't give a shit about when we got to things or if there's new content. And part of it's being younger. I do get that, but like. Gaming was much more like just pure enjoyment, and now like I said, with games as a service and all this stuff, it just feels so much more. Believe me, I don't want to say it feels like a job because I have a job, and jobs suck. But like it isn't just a pure relaxation, sit down and play. And if it gets to the point where it's not that at all for you, that's when you really need to step back and, like you guys were saying, like take a break. One of two things is going to happen. You're either never going to think about it again, and then you'll move on, and you would have been miserable if you stuck with it, or you'll get to a point where you go, man, I miss shooting the last word. I miss playing Destiny, and you'll go back to it and have fun with it again. But don't force yourself, to do something just because. And I know it's hard because we've all said the same thing. Like, man, I feel like I'm behind, but you just got to like uncouple yourself from that and just do something you enjoy. Whatever it may be. Yeah,
that's good. We could go on forever about games as a service.
Yeah, like for Hope, that was you with the chronic masturbating that broke your penis. I mean, that was a good step away. You stepped away, and
you gotta stop sometime.
Came back and bitch you,
Take
but
some breaks, man.
Take some breaks, Hope. It feels like a job, and
listen, it wasn't broken. It was just 3rd-degree burns.
His job's actually regular visits to the sperm bank.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
wear like disguises so that I can donate like more than once a day.
Every day. That's why you had that mustache the other week.
Like,
face tattoo the next.
All the locations. County.
Oh, thank you for joining us this
week.
Well,
actually, that's another problem. Wait, that's another problem with the internet and all the technology. I can't do that anymore because I have my record everywhere. If this was like the 70s, I could donate at every sperm bank in the area. No one would know the difference.
He knows the system too well.
He had a route. Just kidding. He had a route.
But for real, thank you, Chad, for joining us this week. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a blast having you on. Thank you also to Blue Microphones and Headphones for sponsoring RezoCast and for giving us these awesome microphones and headphones to use. Chadlantis even showing off one over there. And yeah, you can find
two
at bluemic.com. Ooh, two. Yes, Chad has two. Bluemic.com. Use code RezoCast to get a 20% discount. Great prices on their site. And they have so many products right now. We're going to be doing another giveaway soon. And if you want to find more about RezoCast, you can visit us on Twitter at RezoCast. We'd love to hear from you. Love for you to input some questions for us to answer next week. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about with the Crucible changes and everything. And also, you can find more about Team Resolute at Team Resolute on Twitter. This has been Lego, aka Legole Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
Twitter and Twitch, both
In the
at
local sperm bank.
at Hove76. Well, both at Hove76. Not quite that, but PSA for anybody in Pittsburgh. You'll be able to find me tomorrow at Cheerleaders with some of my coworkers because one of our favorite current porn stars will be there tomorrow. So if you're anywhere near the Gentlemen's Club, Cheerleaders in Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Like how he says current, like favorite, like it's in seasons, like.
It's a whole other world.
You mean too much of one thing, you gotta take a break.
Right? Exactly.
You know, you gotta mix it up.
Well, one gives him too much of a rug burn.
That's
Oh man,
I don't even know who's next. I don't know how we do this.
I'm going next, but you're not gonna find me at Cheerleaders.
You're not gonna come with me?
No.
Listen. If you are listening to this, look up Ariana Marie. She is gorgeous.
don't.
Look her up.
Or if you're at work,
there's
don't.
a choice. You have a choice
Or
to
look up
do
Triton
that.
at.
Thank you, Chad.
when the host is trying to move along the show.
You can find me mostly on Twitter under Triton Please, all one word, please being PLZ. And how about you, Mana? I guess we'll roll you in here as the non-guest, technically.
Yeah,
beta
Ariana
Asian.
Marie is a cutie.
She's
So I
super.
just-
Yeah.
I just
Oh, I
looked
should
her
have
up.
went to Chad. This was bad.
I'm just saying.
And this is
Okay.
why I give Mana words like beef curtain, even if he didn't say it.
That was the word. I didn't know how.
That's why I tried to get him to say that he had a present for Lego.
said that he wanted to jump into the next. I was like, no, I'm not.
You could have, when PV
I
content
could've.
was being discussed, you could have been like, when the ad spawned, it's like a giant beef curtain that you can just mow down.
Yeah.
Bro,
All
if
right,
you
well,
were-
what? That's a giant beef. Sorry, I was just distracted. All right, well, you can find me
Shields.
on Twitch and Twitter at the Manigator, the dash Manigator. Or no, wait, no, it's the Manigator without. I don't even know how to spell my own name. That's how long it's been since I've done this. Anyways, though, I'm mainly on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch. I've been trying to stream more often if I can find some time, and if the internet will give me a chance to, because my upload apparently is gone. But yeah, those
Polar
two.
vortex.
I'm not even going to attempt with YouTube anymore. But who's
Chad.
Champlantis?
Wilson?
was really
Oh,
close
Wilson,
to that.
Wilson.
Wilson go? Wait, Wilson's.
Wow.
I'm not cutting.
I
Chad off the
listened
people's
to.
champ, dude.
I'm
Are you
sorry.
kidding
No,
me?
no.
Hi. Okay. You know what? This has been Wilson. If you could find me going over to twitch.tv/Chadlantis. That's where you'll find me checking out the people's champ, freezing my ass off in this polar vortex. Go ahead, Chad.
My name's Chad. You can find me on twitch.tv/Wilson309.
No. No.
I'm sure I can do that.
Shout your
Yeah,
own
I'm
Twitch
Chadlantis
out.
TV on Twitter and Instagram, and everywhere else is Chadlantis. I stream nightly. Pretty much shooter RPGs is like my forte. Destiny 2 is the current focus and has been for years, but Anthem Division 2 definitely have my eye coming up. Otherwise, catch my articles on medium.com/Chadlantis.
Yeah.
TV, I believe, is also on Medium. It's new to me because I'm not writing articles and stuff, but yeah.
Check this guy out. He's
Check him out.
kind, handsome, and good at video games. He's a triple threat.
And
Right.
check out his
Chad.
hat.
I was about
He's
to
the
say he has a
people's champ.
magical top hat that never comes off. Oh crap! He just took it off. Well, it's... look at what
skill.
you've done.
Only for a nice greeting, you know, like
Yeah,
mind blown.
cheers.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Until next time, GG.
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 Jeez.
Riri.